Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to 101, and here is the Arsenal versus Leicester City player ratings, and we're obviously going to talk about the red card and the offside goal, but I want to welcome everyone in the panel now because, listen, time to get it on, guys. Neomis, man, how you doing? How's your week been?
It's been good. It's been really good. I wish it was even better after yesterday, but overall life is great. Football for the most part is good. So yeah, looking forward to this coming weekend's games.
Yeah. And Dan, how have you been, man?
I've been all right, mate. I've been all right, just ticking over the usual. You know what I mean? Yeah,
Yeah,
man.
just everyone's just in the mood. After last
Yeah.
night, I was in such a mood, and Sonny was like, "You Apollo, you want to come on?" I was like, "I'm not really feeling it, man." But I know Sonny perks me up. One good thing about Sonny is he cracks some jokes on his channel. So after the show, I think it was after midnight we finished. We were still talking to each other, and I felt way better. I really did. I felt way better. And I know how some people can be a little bit down, but it's nice. I added a little bit of positivity to the show, which is really good. Everyone knows that on my one-on-one channel, yeah, I'm very upbeat when it comes to Arsenal. Positive, actually, not as positive as some of my panel, which I've realized over the last few months. Remember, I predicted in the last 10 games that we were going to get about 12 to 14 points, and we've already got 10 points now, haven't we? 3 wins, 1 draw. So imagine that. Yeah, already got 10 points. So another win for me, really, and would have probably surpassed what I was hoping for. So let's find out who's active in the channel. We've got 18. We've got David as well. K's there. What's going on, guys, man? What's going on? Listen, we're going to get right into it because there's a lot to talk about, man. So first of all, overall, Miss, I did watch your video today, by the way.
You did? Okay.
Yeah, but what's your views? What's your views overall about the result and what it means for us now as a team?
Well, now that I've had a day to kind of sleep on it and understand, assess everything, because I have to admit, during the game, I thought, you know what, we were playing really, really well. I thought, like, wow, we're actually going to get 3 points from Leicester. We played so well. And then just one moment just completely changed it. And I just wanted to hope that we would hold on to the 1-0, and it just wasn't meant to be. And, I did feel dejected from the game, and, it was one where I just knew the 3 points were there for us for the taking. And it's just the same shame that we weren't able to really capitalize on everything.
Yeah, it was. And Dan, what's your views? Dan looking calm right now. Dan looking at ease and no stress. What's going on, Dan? How are you feeling about the result?
I'm gutted, man. I look calm, but yesterday I weren't calm, man. I was so disappointed, bro. Because we should have won. We would have won had Eddie been on the field. I think we would have definitely won. But yeah, man, it was one of them ones. It was like, we should have won that game. The first half was such a brilliant performance, and then the second half just killed us, man. Killed us early, like about halfway through the second half, wasn't it? And then
because we were still doing well leading up to what was going on there at the time. We were still doing well. I think it was 71st or 77 minute where he got sent off, and we were still really controlling the game.
Yeah, but do you know what though? I noticed the game sort of flipped when they had that disallowed goal. When they had that disallowed goal, it was a rare turnover from Saka. When they had that disallowed goal, I noticed they started getting a bit more confidence and they were causing us a few more problems. But
yeah,
that's when I noticed the game sort of changed a little bit. But yeah, I reckon we still would have won had Eddie been on the pitch. But I'm not blaming him because that was a red card. But I just think it was the Vardy incident. They should have been a man down already. Do you know what I'm saying? So.
What is it about decisions that are going against us all the time, every time? Spitfire, nice to see you, man. What's going on, bro? How you been?
I'm not too bad, brother, man. How you doing?
Good, man. Good. What's your overall view of the game?
I just think that they've taken the fun out of football now. I think this whole VAR thing is just ridiculous. Yesterday was another example. I mean, the idiots down the road had their issue a couple of weeks back with the handball that was really a foul, but was it a handball? Then it's like a couple of weeks after now we're getting a red card that was clearly not a red card. It's no longer, they used to say football, it's a man's game. You're gonna get pulled, you're gonna get kicked, you're gonna get a foul, you're gonna get two. I'm not one of those who says just keep fouling the players, because that gets boring. But I think yesterday for me was just how the game has evolved to now a bunch of people sitting around a screen making a decision, spoiling the flow of football. So I thought it was great up until the Eddie sending off, and then it became a ridiculous, almost charade. Like, people are scared to put in. You could see the players; they were scared to tackle, scared to, at one part, Luis, when he, was it an elbow? I don't know, but he's put his arm up like players will do week in, week out to stop the player getting the ball so it runs out. Yeah, and we then had another 3.5, 4 minutes waiting.
I think that was okay because he didn't wind it up. Like, if you're just out there and you go like that, then that's just a natural reaction. But if you got your elbow here and you pull back, you wind it up, and then you go in, then that's a red card all day long.
We still had to wait another 3 minutes before that decision was made. Luis, you could see it in his face. Am I going off? Am I staying on? Everybody else is like, well, we saw what happened to Eddie. He hardly touched the guy, and it's spoiled that now for me. I mean, elbows in the face, never good. Don't do them. But for me, I'm kind of,
as a fan of American football and as a fan of NBA, American football, and a lot of American sports, I said 20 years ago, all this stuff was coming. I said salary cap would come in. I said TV, massive deals would come in. I said video would come in, because you have to remember, I've been watching this stuff since the early 90s. I've been watching this stuff for 25 odd years in American sports, and the English market that is not accustomed to the NFL or the NBA or anything like that. Slowly and surely, we've had it in tennis, we've had it in cricket, we've had video in rugby, we've had video. It's all been introduced. It's all sports are doing it because there's too much money in the game now. The problem isn't with the technology. The problem is with the people behind the technology. That's where the problem is. Because I'm going to bring us up. I'm going to bring us up to. Let's have a look now.
So, Apollo, I don't mind the technology, but yesterday for me, the ref made a decision. Everyone on the pitch was happy with the decision, including the defender who went down. Then it went to VAR, who spent 5 minutes looking at the same issue at least 74 times. To then come back and give it to the referee and say, for him to turn around and say, okay, now it's a red card. Because he couldn't not say it's a red card after they looked at it. If they looked at it for 30 seconds and said, no, you're good, or continue, he would have said, okay, I've made a good decision. But I think that was clearly influenced.
Do you know why it was a red yesterday? It was a red because from the side angle, it didn't look that harmful, but from the front angle that the ref saw it from, that's the angle he was looking at. He stood on his knee, and his knee was sideways. So you've seen them injuries go bad, man. Remember when Keane did it years ago on Alf in Charland, that guy there.
If he had his foot planted, he would have broken. If he had his foot planted, he would have broken his foot. I'm not disputing whether it was a red. I'm disputing that there was minimal contact, but you can see him. He's kind of turns his leg, because if he doesn't turn his leg, if his foot's planted and then he catches him, he's going to break his leg. So you can see he's trying to come out of it a little bit. But I just want to speak to the guys, talk about the guys in the chat room at the moment. Cool K is saying, still can't believe so many decisions going against us. Maybe we feel that we're the most effective team because we watch ourselves more than other team. A little bit of that as well, mate. But I think it's the inconsistency. The problem, Cool K, is this, which is what I talked about on Sonny's show. If you take someone like Johnny Evans had 7 bad tackles yesterday that resulted in free kicks. 3 of them was behind the player, right on the back of the ankle, no yellow card. If that was an Arsenal player, we would have had at least 3 yellow cards with 7 of those kind of tackles. If that was an Arsenal player that was being tackled against, like what Eddie did, if that was a a Leicester player that did that, they wouldn't have given a red. You know, because it's an Arsenal player, because it's a kid that's come on inexperienced, man gets a red straight away. Look what happened with Vardy and Mustafi. They didn't even think twice.
Yep.
There's a question whether they even put that to video.
They didn't. It's confirmed. It didn't even go to VAR. Confirmed. Like, that's what I'm saying. And he flung his leg out on purpose. If you watch it again and again and again, if you can see, as Vardy's spinning around, he flings his leg out on purpose, but he's clever. Do you know why he's clever? Because what he did is he was like, "Oh, I'm sorry, mate," immediately. Like, Eddie was just sat on the floor, like, he sort of knew he was going off, man. He knew he'd done something bad there, man. And, like, you've got to just be more smarter and just sort of play it off a bit, like how teams do against us.
Yeah, Rafa, I agree with you. I think it's definitely a red card. I've got no problem with that. My problem is the inconsistency in officiating. Yeah. If you're giving him a red card for that, then you have to give Vardy a red card for what he did. I mean, you know, with Nketiah, it was an accident. He didn't mean it. It was a mistake. Yeah, but with Vardy, that was a mistake too. But it still deserves a red. It doesn't matter whether it's a mistake. It doesn't matter whether you've committed yourself and you followed through or whatever. It doesn't matter whether it's a mistake. The fact is, you're there causing an injury. The guy who Nketiah nearly tackled, because remember, it was kind of a miss. It didn't look like there was any contact, but it was the intent why he got sent off. The fact that there was the intent there and it was a mistake. Vardy's one connected and put boots and studs in Mustafi's face. There was, you know, if you look on the Leicester player, they weren't even a scratch on his socks. Man never had a scratch on his socks.
And Vardy's foot was raised and studs out as well. And I thought that was the definition of a dangerous foul. That's a dangerous. He didn't even get carded, did he? He didn't get anything.
No, he didn't get nothing, mate. But Emery and saying refs have allowed physical games against Arsenal for years. Yeah, it's true, man. It's, you know, we just get we don't get the rub of the green at all. I don't think VAR should be scrapped, David. I just think that we need to put better people behind the video. Formula One had this problem for a few years, and you know what they did? They took the stewards out of it and they put ex-drivers in there. So if you look at Martin,
Brundle.
No, I think it was somebody. No, Mark Blundell. Yeah. They put and then Charlie Whitening, may he rest in peace. Yeah, all of these guys, they had ex-drivers that they put on this panel so they can get it right. And since then, it's been fine. They've had no problems with all the calls. With some of these officials, they've probably never played football before in their life. For me, that's what you got to sort out.
And they're not even legit refs, Apollo. You know who? Like, if you look at the VAR officials, you don't even recognize their names, fam. Like, some of them are like from Division 2 and all that. Like, what are they doing, bruv? Like, get a ref that's not working that day to be the VAR official, at least. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. There's another comment here that I like for ref. In a few years, they'll be, I mean, like the NFL, you can throw that red flag and you can challenge the call, bro. Let's hear what Mohammed's saying. Love your channel, but there's only one physical one. Arsenal Fan TV are doing really well. They've been established for a very long time, bro. I've been on there a few times. Sonny's been on there a few times. But I think what it is, the way I looked at it is, you know, Arsenal Fan TV is BBC One, and you've just got more choice. You know, some channels are great. Some channels have a huge following, and some channels, like my channel, is an extension of my Facebook channel, which has been going for 7 years. So 101 Arsenal hashtag 101 has been going for a very long time. Sadly, the YouTube channel's only been going for just over a year. But I myself, in terms of 101's been going for a very long time, and that's just how it is. So it's really about, David, yes, I have been on Arsenal Fan TV. If you go to my Twitter page, which my handle's up there, then you'll see the interview I did with Robbie after the Spurs game. And read the comments below. A lot of people are saying, make him a regular. But, you know, I'm doing my own thing, man. I got nothing against Robbie. I think he's done an amazing job. I think he's making a whole heap of money. And I think he's doing himself proud as a black man as well. I think he's really, really putting it up there. Talk Sport, he's the envy of the industry, because all that man from Talk Sport slag him off because they're not making Robbie money. And fair play to Robbie, man. May he be successful, and I wish him all the best. But 101, we got our community and we're doing our thing, bro, and we're growing and we're growing and we're growing. And with the likes of yourselves who's come here to listen to what we're talking about, it only helps, bro. Yeah, it only helps. What I'm going to do is ask everybody about this offside now. So, Neomis, I got the picture up there. What's your views on that? Here's the player. You can see that the shoulder is off, and this has been given before previously in the Premier League, where people have a part of the body that is over and it's been given no goal. What's your opinion on this, Neomis?
When I first saw this in the game, I thought the situation was actually so close, and depending on what angle you look at, would be dependent on whether Vardy might be a bit offside. I think it was Mustafi that was marking him. I mean, it looks like Mustafi's arm is a bit offside, depending on what angle you're looking at. So it's a very tough one. I think when I did watch it, one of the angles was whether Iosi Perez touched the ball, and I have to admit, it looks like the ball did touch him. So it should have been one where the goal shouldn't have counted. But I mean, looking at the image there, you have to say that it looks like Mustafi's finger is probably playing him onside.
You're not allowed to be. It's only a part of the ball that can play the ball. The part of the body that can play the ball has to be playing them onside. So your shoulder, your head, your foot, your knee, any part of your body except your arm or your finger. So if it's his finger, then he's offside.
Yeah, I mean, guys in the chat as well. Emrian, David, Mohammed, 18, Cool K. Guys, do you think that was offside as well? I want to also give a big shout out to Centroflower. That's a name and a half, bro. Welcome. I haven't seen your name pop up before, so welcome to the party, bro. Welcome to, as I say to everybody from the Matrix, you've swallowed the red pill. Welcome to the real world, bro. Guys in the chat, let me know if you think that was a goal, if you think that was offside. David is saying it was offside. 18 is saying, look, if you look at this bit here, down here, Xhaka didn't do enough to close that, to stop that cross from coming in. Dan, is that offside?
If we're gonna go by how consistency, yeah, look at how the refs have been this season, yeah, with offsides. That's offside, isn't it? Like, because if you look, Mustafi's arm's playing him on. I can see Mustafi's foot as well, yeah, is out there. But his shoulder, Vardy's shoulder, which you can play the ball with, yeah, is offside.
Yeah,
it's offside, bro. If we're gonna go by, what the refs have been doing, they ain't even given daylight rule anymore. It's just like if any part of your body is even 1 millimeter over, they're pulling it for offside. But this one is okay because it's Arsenal, isn't it? But that there, by their rules, is offside. Personally, I don't agree with that rule. I think there should be a daylight rule. So, like, it should be daylight or at least like a foot or something in between the player to call it offside. But going by what they've been doing this year, that should have been ruled offside. And even if Iosi Perez did touch it, then it's even more offside because Vardy was way further by that point. Do you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I think that's offside by their own rules.
Yeah, a Spitfire. What about you? Is that offside for you?
As an Arsenal fan, I'll say yes all day. However, if I'm being judgmental, I don't think that was offside until the ball came through and hit Perez's foot. I know they showed so many different angles, but for me, I'm sure I saw it hit his foot and then go down because you saw like the print when it hit the rain and everything. And if he's touched it and Vardy was then in front of, I think it was Mustafi was in front of at the time, then it's clearly offside. I think this was offside marginally though, probably too close to call. That's why we got Hawkeye, VAR, whatever. I think if the first one wasn't, if we give this one because it probably is too close to call. But once it touches his foot and Vardy's in front of the striker, then it's got to be offside.
Yeah, I mean, boy, you know what, man? It's I don't even know, guys. I mean, it's just the rub of the green. I think it's off. I think it's off marginally. I think it's off. And so, what are our guys saying? David thinks it's off. Stephen says it's on. Stephen says it's on. Kuke says it's offside. What else is everybody saying? Kuke, love the fact that he called out the refs and the Vardy. Yeah, Arteta called them out straight after the game. Nice to see a bit of fight from the manager. What's this? Vardy was behind the ball when Perez touched it. Yeah, that's another thing. But I think that they're saying that Perez didn't touch it. I think they're saying he didn't touch it. Yeah, I think he did. But Kuke said AFTV is negative. I know Kuke's comments about Claude. We had a chat about that the other day. So guys, there we go. So let's get rid of that. So let's have a look at the overall situation with the player ratings. Let's talk about the players. But before I do that, I did mention something to you guys last week, Wednesday. If you can remember, I did say that I think it was David. David asked me, where do you think Arsenal's going to finish next season? And I said to David, we're going to finish in the top 4. And I said, if it's not in the Champions League next year, then it's going to be the year after that. And the reason why I've said that is because current form, since Arteta's taken over, and I wanted to show this proof to you guys. Let's zoom it up here. Yeah, take a look at that. I'm not going to say nothing. I just want to go around the panel and hear what you guys are saying. This is the last 13 games that Arteta has been in charge with this year. Neomis, you got the conch, man. Let's hear what's going on now. What's your thoughts with this?
Where we will finish next season or this season?
Next season. So what I'm saying to you guys is, this is the effect that Arteta's had on the team since he's come in. We have been easily in the top 4 best teams since he's taken over. I believe that next season, Arteta's going to finish in the Champions League, depending, this is the intangibles here, on what happens in the summer, whether we can strengthen the midfield. However, with the poor quality players and squad that we have currently now, he's able to do that. He's able to make them the 3rd top team this year. So, so my opinion is, I think that Arteta's good enough to take this team into the Champions League top 4 next season. What's your opinion?
I think that you're very, very, very positive. I don't see it, especially when you factor in what potentially is going to happen in the summer. I'm looking at teams around us, Manchester United, Chelsea. I know they're going to be making moves in the summer, but
the number's right there, bro. The number's right in front of you.
I know, but
can't make it any clearer than that, man. Look at the numbers are right there, bro. The numbers are right there.
No, honestly, right. I think Arteta will continue to have that effect, but unless we get those changes in midfield, I think in terms of the whole of next season, we might start off well and have maybe a good middle of the season. But once we start factoring where the squad and players that we need to kind of really finish off the season, because I think that's been one of the weaknesses that we've had in the past, we are going to struggle. And this is why in the summer it's imperative that we get our starting 11 sorted, where we get the right players in. If Thomas Partey comes in there and we get another centre back that's of good quality and the players continue to improve, then I will say that we can definitely do it. But for me, I know Manchester United will improve. I know Chelsea will. To be honest, I thought the top 4 next season would be, if you take Arsenal out and put them where Wolves are right now, I think Arsenal will finish 5th. But top 4, I still think it is going to be a challenge.
Okay, Dan, what about you? And Stephen thinks that we're going to finish in the top 4. Yeah, so Stephen, I probably agree with that. I think 3rd is a bit too high, but then again, we are the 3rd best current team in the league this year, so the numbers don't lie. However, I do believe that, no, I don't, Stephen. You know why? Because we beat Man United 2-0, and Chelsea, although they beat us 2-1, we should have won that game. So I think we're just as good as those guys. So I think it's a fair shot. We could finish, let's just say, in the top 4. I think we finish in the top 4, whether it be 3rd or 4th. We could be as good as any of those teams. Right now, we're the team that's in a mess, and we're still able to do what we're doing right there. Dan?
I agree. I think we're finishing the top 4. I think 3rd ain't even too high, man. Because what people are doing, people are panicking because they're seeing what Chelsea are doing, but Chelsea have been saving money up for a little while. Do you know what I mean? Tom pointed out in the group today that they just got paid on Morata as well. So they had the Hazard money, Morata, they got a good sponsorship deal. Do you know what I mean? And they haven't been able to buy players last year. So obviously they're splurging, and they're playing catch up, even though they're doing all right with it. So I think people are looking at Chelsea and thinking everyone's going to go and spend loads of money and we're going to get left behind again. But we're not. Everyone's in the same situation we are, including Man United, Man United ain't rich, but they are, but they can't spend all that money. Do you see what I'm saying? So I think we've got a very, very, very good shot at top 4 next year. And also, like I was saying last week, people underrate our team too much, man. Like they look at our team player for player. Look at Leicester; they're high flying. They're like 3rd this year, aren't they? Yeah. And look at their team player for player, and look at our team player for player. And are you really telling me that they're better than us? There's no way, fam. No way, bro.
The table don't lie, man. The table doesn't lie right now.
No, but even without the table, let's just look at players, like the quality of player that we've got in our team. I know people write our defense off and all that, but Arteta's fixed that without buying players in. He's already fixed it. Look at how solid our defense is the last few games. And ever since he's come, we've been a lot more solid in defense with the same players. So it's not necessarily the players, it's our tactics have been all over the shop since Wenger's downfall, really. Do you know what I mean? We haven't really, Wenger didn't have any tactics at the end. And then Emery come in with the wrong tactics. So Arteta, all he's had to do is just put the right tactics in there for the players we've got and look at our performances. So I think next year we will buy Partey. I'm sure we'll get him. And we've got...
Man said you look like Giroud.
Yeah, I'm confused. I'm like, what?
Man said you look like Giroud.
Man's fogging out, boy. But anyway, like, I do think... Just ignore that. I do think we'll finish top 4, definitely.
Yeah. Before I go to Spitfire, any news on Sar? No, I mean, I haven't. The thing is, I'm going to be off work for a couple of weeks now, as from today, so I won't really be able to have that much communication with majority of agents. I do know that there's been an offer on the table, but that's not new news. That's old news. We've been looking at free agents since January, so I know he's a player that's been on the list. So I think something's been on the table for a while now. And with I know the PSG fullback, what's his name again? Kazawa or something like that. And I know they've pulled out with him. They're no longer interested in him. But I think they've had something on the table with Sarr for a while. So so that's it on him. But Spitfire. Look at this table, Spitfire. Tell me what's going through your head. This is what Arteta has been able to do. If somebody said, Arteta shit, man, I want let's get rid of him. He's not doing anything in the team. This is the table I'd like those guys to see, because it shows you straight away the effect of what he's been able to do since he's come into the team. Now, quantify that over a full season, he's making us competitive. And I believe that next season, he can take us into the Champions League. What's your thoughts, Spitfire?
Honestly, I look at I like stats. I like the whole picture. I like the big picture. He's pretty much gone in with the same team Unai had, and we know once the heads go down of this team, that this table, that's great, but we know what happened at the beginning of the season. And the amount of draws and losses we've had. I'd like to think he could keep the motivation. If he keeps the motivation, he keeps the players hungry, then it's very possible. However, I still have my doubts. Even like the situation with Guendouzi at the moment. There's the Ozil, what some people call problem. I see us around about 4th. So I'll put us between next season, honestly speaking.
Yeah, because, I mean, right now, look, we should have beat Chelsea. We played Man United off the park. We completely played them off the park, beat them 2-0 at the Emirates. Look what we've done to Wolves. And Wolves were a team that had 7 clean sheets in the last 7. The only team that had beaten them this year was Liverpool. They literally have been rolling over everybody, and we put them to the sword. Man City and Liverpool, we're probably not ready for them too yet. Spurs are going to get a hiding this weekend. Spurs are going to get a sound man battering. Sound clash battering coming this weekend.
They better.
Damn right.
So I don't really think there's a lot of teams. And look, as I said to you before, this is an Arsenal team that is battered. They've had the worst start in the first half of this season, which is why Emery gone. Freddie couldn't do much leading up to Christmas. And half the players on this team shouldn't even be on there. So there's going to be a clear out and those players are going to go by the wayside, and better players who are more suitable for the system will come in. So imagine, Spitfire, the team that's doing that ain't even ready yet. We're not even the finished article. We're nowhere near being the finished article. I'm putting it right in your head now, aren't I?
I agree. I fully agree. Sorry?
I'm putting it right in your head now, innit? You can see.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah.
I just want, I think somebody said it earlier. I want us to figure out our first 11 and our first set of subs, get that right, continue working with those guys, and then I'd feel more confident in the team. At the moment, it still doesn't even feel like we know our first 11. Do you play Willock? Do you play Saka? Do you play Pepe? Do you play Torreira or Guendouzi? I'd like to think Arteta knows, but at the moment, I don't know. Can anyone call the first 11? We do it in the group every week. We say, all right, I pick my 11. It's different from your 11, Apollo. It's different from Tom's 11, different from Anonymous's 11. Who knows?
Yeah.
So at the moment, I literally feel like, who knows? On any given day, we could turn up and get turned over like we did against Brighton, or draw like we did yesterday, or win like we did at Wolves. No consistency for me.
Yeah, I think the one thing that I'm really proud of on this channel is, when it comes to choosing the team sheets, this was the first channel. Yeah, no other Arsenal channel on the internet, on YouTube, was choosing to put Saka in the middle. After we played Charlton and Brentford, it was this channel between the five of us when we chose the team that chose Saka to go in the middle. And you know what? I was reading the forum and people was going, "What are you lot smoking? You're mad. Saka ain't playing in the middle." What happened the next game? Boom. Where's he been playing since? In the middle and on the right, obviously because Pepe is not there. But look where he does his best job. He's supposed to be a right winger, but the guy's coming into the middle and he's making things happen. So yeah, I'm just happy with where he is at the moment. Guys, let's get right into the player ratings now because we've had fun for half an hour. So let's start with Martinez. Guys in the chat, throw your numbers out there for Martinez. Let's hear it for our goalkeeper, our future number one. For real, man. Neilmis, let's hear your thoughts on Martinez.
I gave Martinez a 7. I thought he was really solid. Again, he's impressing me every single game. Like, this was a game where Leicester, Iheanacho had a shot there he saved really comfortably, didn't spool it, just caught it like it was nothing. I think Vardy had one earlier in the first half, caught it like it was nothing. Just, again, a really solid performance. And I mean, I've seen Martinez at Arsenal now for a long time. I've watched him out on loan, and the growth that what he's had over the past 10 years to what he's doing right now, I just think is incredible. But for me, I gave him a 7. Like, he didn't do anything wrong. And the goal, I mean, yeah, there's not much he can do about that. But yeah, again, a really another solid performance by Martinez.
So we've got Emery in with a 7. Adam spamming 8s, Look, man is spamming his phone right now. Spamming bare 8s there, Mohammed. David's gone for a 7 point. I like David's points. That's what I do when I'm writing movie reviews. I put the 0.8, the 0.6, the 0.3. He's the only one that does that here. Style is going for an 8. Steven's going for a 8.5. Good save, but it kicks too long. This guy's number 1. Yeah, that's by design, mate. The long kicks. I think they see a few of the players there trying to hold the ball up. It just not really working. We haven't got a Giroud figure down there, so I don't know why they do it. We do know the philosophy, though, is to play the ball out the back on the feet, keep it low, keep the ball on the ground. And anytime you see him kick it, that's a danger sign. 18's gone for a 9. Mohammed is still spanning 8s, bro. We get it, bro. It's an 8, bro. And we've got Cricket Ball's gone for 8.5 man of the match. Might be sold to the highest bidder. Nah, he ain't going nowhere, man.
No.
He ain't going nowhere.
Not anymore. No.
Mohammed is having some fun tonight. Man's on the rum, you know. Man's on the rum. Purple's going with, look, that's Mohammed again. My hand just slipped there and I just went straight to Mohammed again. Purple's going with 7.9 and Mohammed is still spamming those 8s. Dan.
I'm gonna go to what Mohammed's saying, mate. Like he had an 8 for me, but not just because of the saves. A lot of the saves are basic, like middle of the goal or not quite like. But the reason I'm giving him an 8 is because of his sweeper keeper, bro. He's a better sweeper keeper than Leno, bro. Like I'm telling you.
He's a better goalie than Leno, period.
Do you see how he reads the game? Like there was a time where they did a long ball over the top and he come out for the header.
It happened twice.
Out for the header. No, but he come out for the header and he headed it to Bello and I was like, this guy is proper. Like he's proper.
Yeah.
Leno ain't doing that. Leno's spazzing out if that happens, bro. Like I'm telling you.
Yeah.
So I just think 7.5 just because he conceded one, innit? Even though it weren't his fault. It's like,
it wasn't nothing he could do about that.
Yeah. But you got to take a little shade off him. So I give him a 7.5. But yeah, he's proven himself for sure, man.
Yeah, and I told you guys, it's like, look, man for man, Leno and Martinez are both good shot stoppers. They're both good shot stoppers. The problem comes in is what do you do in set pieces? Leno's a little erratic. And that's where he's made the mistakes. Playing the ball out distribution, Martinez is way better. And then obviously the mistakes. We know
Leno's just got better reflexes. That's all. Like like a reflex save. Remember that double save against Tottenham and things like that. Yeah, that's the only thing he's better at. Like I actually thought he had better command of his area and that. But seeing Martinez, because I'm still stuck on Martinez from last year, the year before, and all that. But he's a lot better. He's a lot better.
Yeah, I don't have fair. I'm not petrified when the ball comes into the box. I know my man's got it. Yeah, Spitfire.
I gave him an 8. I think he's becoming more and more commanding. I saw him come out a couple of times yesterday and punch the ball out, and he looks like he's knocking defenders and forwards out while he's doing it. So that's always great with me. This is my area. No one coming in, and he looks like he's imposing that now. The argument, Leno, and that, I think the defense has been playing a lot better with Martinez behind him. So I don't think it's fair to say Leno's this or Leno's that at the moment, because I feel like if Leno was playing behind how the defenders are playing now, he might be a little bit better because they're playing better. The whole team's playing better. So Martinez has come in now that Arteta has said, look, sort it out, guys. Nothing should be going through to the keeper. But it's coming through to him. He's looking commanding. He's looking better from set pieces. And yesterday was just unfortunate. It was an offside goal. I'm sticking by that. So I'm going to give him an 8.
Excellent. David, we've got a few questions here. David, would you say Leno? Definitely not, mate. Every team at the top level has 2 good goalkeepers. Some don't. So if we do, that gives us an advantage. We're seeing that in sports now, especially in the NFL. You need to there's a lot of teams with 2 good quarterbacks, 2 or 3 good running backs. Quality never goes by the wayside as far as Mohammed Apollo. So sick, we should call him Apollo Creed. Bro, I was born in 1968. 1968, do your research. The first manned mission on Apollo. Apollo sent 5 rockets up into space that year. That's my name, bro. Well, let's move on to Mustafi. Mustafi, guys in the chat, let's hear your opinions for Mustafi. I call him the serial offender. This is going to be really interesting. So, guys in the chat, throw your numbers up. Neilmis, what's going on, man? And Bertram, what's going on, Bertram? If you want, you can come in, man. You can come in, Bertram, if you want. Yeah, go on.
I actually gave Mustafi a 6. I mean, he had an okay performance for the most part. Made a few mistakes. Obviously, the Vardy goal has to be kind of taken into account. But for the most part, there were lots of good parts, especially in the first half, of him clearing the ball a lot of the times. I thought, to be honest, the back 3 overall in the first half was very good. But when the game actually went on and Leicester started to really pressure us, that's where you could see a lot of the kind of little mistakes are coming here and there. But I gave Mustafi a 6, so another kind of decentish performance from me.
Right. So, guys, Mohammed's good. Mustafi 69. I'm finished.
That didn't sound right, Apollo. That the way you said that didn't sound right.
Yeah, no, I think he meant 7. I don't know how the 69 turned into a 7. Emery has gone for 7, and look, he's just said no. I mean 7. David's gone for 7 as well. Cricket Ball's gone for a 7. Style is gone for a 7. 18 is gone for a 6. Stephen has gone for a 7. Good overall. Wow, you guys are right on my score. You know what, guys? I broke the golden rule, man. I forgot to give you my score for Martinez. Oops. All right. So I gave Martinez an 8, and I put down here, no mistakes made since taking over the number 1. Made excellent saves that kept us ahead. Assured, confident, and competent. Makes it look easy. Continued to assert his dominant through crowds of bodies, and that was me and Martinez. I'll also give you my Mustafi. I went for 7 as well, guys. So yeah, we share a lot in the chat room. Mustafi strong in the air, went to war with Vardy, and the one time he switched off, Vardy got in front of him for the goal. Outside of that, he was outstanding. But I would have given him an 8, but it was, you've got to block him man out and not let him get to that ball. Vardy got the jump on him, and that was it. So Dan, what are you going for with Mustafi?
I would have given him an 8, but 7.5 again, because he had a really, really, really solid game, man. Like, he was really good yesterday, man. And that Vardy goal, that only happened because Vardy's quicker than him. That's literally the only reason why Vardy got in front of him, because he's quicker than him. But I just think he had a really good, solid game, and he's been playing better since he got hooked at half time. Since that game where he got hooked at half time, man's been a lot better. So yeah, 7.5 for Mustafi.
Excellent. So, what are we saying? Emery and Mustafi playing like Baresi. You know what? He played really well yesterday outside of the goal. And I think that when you make things like that and the players go back to London Coney and they watch film, and Arteta will point out what's going on with the film, and this is wrong and that's wrong and this is what you need to do. And that's how the coaches coach the players. You've got to box your player out. It's like in basketball. When you're in your paint and the ball's coming up, if the shot's missed, you want to block your player out. You want to use your body, block the player out so that your team can get the rebounds. It's the same thing on set pieces. This is the reason why we see, don't tug, don't pull, just use your body to muscle the player out the way. That's not a foul. It's perfectly legal to do that. And he didn't do it. He just allowed the player
one point on that. Sorry, just 1 point on that, yeah. Just bear in mind, this is Jamie Vardy. It's not like some whack striker. Like, it's like, you can't really box LeBron James out. So, like, well, you can, but it's difficult, innit? Like, the same thing with Vardy. It's like, it's difficult to block him out, man. So I agree with you, but like, you have to make some slight allowances for the fact that it's the top striker in the league, really.
Yeah, top striker in the league now. Spitfire, Mustafi, what's your grade?
I gave Mustafi 7.5. I can't say he's the one to blame for that ball. That came through how many defenders before it got to him? Vardy super quick, as we know. It was a great delivery. And I cannot, again, in the group we discussed it yesterday, I cannot see how that was Mustafi's fault. I think because of his past mistakes, because people like to get on his back, it's easy to say, oh, he should have got there. I counted 5 people that could have stopped that before that. Even when you showed it earlier, Xhaka was the person next to the guy who was delivering it. I thought it was solid. Yesterday. I think there's less and less mistakes every week. He's partnering with Luis better. It's like, you go. Luis is saying, I'll stay back, because we know when Mustafi's the last man, consider it a goal. But I think yesterday he was more solid than I've seen him in a little while. He looked more confident on the ball. He's still getting the 90 minutes. So I gave him 7.5.
Good. And we've got what's going on now? Ozil in his prime. Oh, that's a tough one.
Ozil.
Yeah, I'm saying Ozil because Ozil is the only player to nearly break Thierry Henry's record, and then Ozil's a World Cup winner. Until Kevin De Bruyne does that, then for me, it's always going to be Ozil. Yeah, Expressions is smoking something, man. I ain't got no time for that, brother. He's smoking something. He's got a fun channel, though, so I'll big him up for that. And guys, listen, 2 things in the chat, guys. Appreciate all of your donations from $1.99, and it really helps the channel out. So if anybody wants to commit any funds to the channel, I appreciate that. They can see the # in the chat now. And also, guys, hit the like button. Hit the like button for this video. It doesn't cost you nothing. All it does is the more likes this video gets, then the more YouTube will be able to put it out there so people can enjoy the content as well. So it doesn't cost you nothing, guys. Hit that like button for this video. I appreciate that very much. Guys, David Luiz, this is where things get even more interesting. David Luiz, Neomis, David Luiz, you got the conch.
I gave David Luiz a 6.5. For me, again, similar to Mustafi, I thought in the first half, again, like really good. Nothing really went that wrong. No kind of David Luiz type moments. For me, I just felt that in order for me to give a higher mark, I wanted more, and I say this for the whole of the back three, that I needed more for me to kind of give them more marks, but nothing too much to worry about from him. Still was trying to kind of ping those long passes in the first half and try to create something, but I thought it was a pretty overall a decent performance from him.
Right. Okay. So the scores are starting to come in. We've got Emery in with a 7, 18 with an 8, Style with a 7, David with a 7. Yes, please, guys, everybody like the video. Click that like button, please. Thank you very much, Mohammed. I'm going to have to get Mohammed on the channel if he keeps this up. Cricketball, a 6, and the 6, a 6.5. Cool K has gone with 7.5. Yes, I got the £25. Thank you very much. Well, much appreciated, brother. Thank you for donating to the channel. Really appreciate it, mate. Mohammed, everybody liked the video. People were drink for his baby. I agree, man. Dan, what's your views on Luiz?
I'm going to be controversial here. I'm going to give him a 5.
Wow.
Yeah, because he was decent in the first half, yeah, but in the second half, he was one of the players that lost it, bruv. Like, as soon as we went down to 10 men, that you see that bit, the elbow you lot were talking about earlier. I didn't want to say this then, yeah, but he didn't elbow him. But what was he doing there, bruv? That was typical David Luiz spaz out moment, bruv.
But like, wasn't his head in the other direction, which is why
he backed in? He did that stupid back into the player. Like he thought, I'll win a free kick here, and he just give the ball away and put us under unnecessary pressure. He had a few moments after we went down to 10 men where his head went, bruv. Like he's one of them guys, innit? Like he's solid, then his head just goes certain times. And like, watch the game back, yeah. And David Luiz and another player we're going to talk about in a minute, yeah. They were the worst players when you know who it's going to be. And he almost knows who. But yeah, I feel like he lost it a bit. So I had him at like an 8 in the first half, and in the second half he was 0 for me. So I put him down to a 5.
Dan, you know I do match day commentary on 101.
Yeah.
You know I do play-by-play, so I know exactly.
I always comment on it. No, but I'm saying the first half he was good. Second half he was terrible, bruv. Like I swear down. Watch the second half again.
Well, a lot in the second half. Under
fair pressure.
Yeah, when we went down to 10 men, a lot of guys were struggling out there, and a lot of legs were going. Yeah, it was. It's. Look, I gave him a 7.5. I stated in the match day commentary as well, 3 blocks, 5 clearances, which again led the game. More blocks than anybody else, more clearances. It's the blocks that's impressing me, because he's holding his ground, he's making crucial blocks. It's the timing and the judgment on those blocks. It's key to us keeping clean sheets. If a defender is putting his body in the way, the ball doesn't go to the net. The goalkeeper doesn't have to make the saves. Where he was better in this game than the Wolves game. In the Wolves game, we criticised him, and Bertrand was really excellent in his synopsis of David Luiz's ability to push the ball forward. In this game, he did. In this game, he was able to spread the ball out to Tierney, spread the ball out to Saka, out wide. And what it does is it breaks the midfield. We saw that today. I actually should have given him an 8, because had Vardy not scored and we'd won that game, he would have been well-deserved again. He was my joint man of the match against Wolves, and he was solid again today. And yes, I've given him a 7.5. Spitfire.
I gave Luis 7.5 as well. I think he was solid. I think the job of the defense is to stop them from scoring, and bar an offside goal, they had pretty much did the job. You know, Leicester's got 64 goals this season, and to keep them out for so long and only concede once we've gone down to 10 men, Luis, he's marshalling at the back. We know he's got about 2 or 3, as Idan said, 2 or 3 mad moments. We could only call it mad moments where he's like he just plays another game. He's on FIFA or whatever, just kicking people down, elbowing them, or drop kicking someone. He has them mad moments, so we know. But I think he's been playing solid. The whole defense to me yesterday held Leicester. Leicester are a good team. They know how to score, and they've battered teams, you know, much worse than the draw that we had yesterday. And Luis was right in the center of defense, marshalling, controlling. I like him because he's more vocal than anyone. I hear him
he's
a lot
true
shouting.
leader.
And you see him, you know, talking to his players, arm around the shoulder, or shouting, "Get there, move," or whatever. So I gave him a 7.5. Thought he was good yesterday.
Excellent. So, guys, we're going to talk about Klasnach now. And remember, we didn't like him too much. He had a lot of 5s in the last game. Guys in the chat, throw your numbers up for Klasnach, please. Neomesis, what's your opinion on Klasnach?
Well, I actually thought in this game, Kolasinac was definitely better than he was in the last game. I thought I think maybe the leadership from David Luiz really helped that. But I thought he was, for me, a bit better. Again, part of the defense in the first half, pretty much solid. Didn't really do much things that were that wrong. A few little mistakes here and there where I felt that maybe he should have been tracking the attackers a little bit more. But really a lot of little kind of minor things. But for me, I had to give him a 6. So for me, probably on the same level as Mustafi in the game.
Wow. Okay. So I think that the numbers are coming in quite consistently now. 18's gone for a 4. Emery's gone for a 6. David's gone for a 6.9. I wonder if that's what. Yeah, you know what, guys? When Mohammed was doing the 69, it was supposed to be a 6.9. I've just realized.
I hope so. I hope so.
Mohammed's got this. Listen, I just came up with that, so just. Mohammed's going for a 6. Styles gone for a 5. Kulke's gone for a 6. Cricketball's gone for a 6.5. Yes, I agree. He is looking a lot more comfortable in that, and it takes time. He's not a centre back, guys. Look, we know this from straight off the bat. And I said to Spitfire that the reason why I think we're going to be top 4 next year is because we're trying to put square pegs in round holes at the moment. This isn't the squad he wants. He's taken over a team that's failed Emery, failed Lundberg, failed Wenger. A lot of these guys ain't going to be around. So, you know, let's understand the process. And, work in process at the moment, guys. The 6 has gone 5.5. I've gone for a 6.5, a lot calmer, composed. For some reason, he doesn't do well in space. If you tell him to stay in one spot for too long, it just doesn't work with him. He's better when he's moving around and he's going forward. He got forward a little bit, which was nice to see in this game. And, the more you push him up the field, the better player that he will be. He's not a defender, guys. But yeah, I agree with Kulke. He's looking much better going forward. So I gave him a 6.5. I actually thought that he did well yesterday. Dan?
I give him a 6, man. I think he's been quite consistent, I have to say, since he's been in that 3. I said it last week as well. I think he's been quite consistent. And it's easy to look. He's like another one like Mustafi. They're easy to look at and say, they don't do nothing, they're to blame or whatever it is because they made mistakes in the past or whatever. I just think he's all right, man. I think he's been doing well in that 3. So I give him a 6, man. Basic.
So, Dave, what has Arteta done to Saka? Well, it's not just Saka. It's, look, as a manager, I've been working at my company for 18 years, been a manager for 7 years. And I know when it comes to my staff, if it's a younger person, if I'm coaching them and I'm training them and telling them what to do, they pick it up like that. It's because everything's new to them. Yeah, everything as far as process is new to them. I'm telling them what good looks like and using my experience to do so. It's very hard to do that with somebody who's an experienced person. in any field, because they've been there, they've done it, they know what works within themselves. When you try and tell them what to do, the hardest thing for them to do is change. So because they've still got those bad habits. So this reflects in sports as well. So if you've got a sports person like Peter Cech playing the ball out from the back, it's just something he's not accustomed to doing. Yeah, he tried, but he wasn't very good at it. And that's no disrespect to Peter Cech. It's just that that's not the way how he was taught to play the game. So as a younger person, it's easier for them to pick up new ideas, new philosophies, because they're still learning. They don't know anything else. So they're all ears, and the mechanics of adapting and change is much easier. So it's not just Saka. You're seeing that with a lot of the other young kids. And I want to see this in Smith Rowe as well. He's the guy who I'm pinning a lot on next season, because I billed him as the new Aaron Ramsey last year, and it just hasn't worked out for injuries and various reasons. And I'm looking for him to come. Look, I said the same thing about Edin Nketiah when he was in the youth team, and look what he's been able to do in the first team now, with the amount of passion and running and energy that he's shown on the first team. He's there because he deserves to be there. And Lacazette is Lacazette, but for me, that number 9 starter anchor man is Edin Nketiah. But again, it's just one of the things I saw 2 years ago, and I'm saying this with Smith Rowe as well, and a lot of people are saying it with Smith Rowe, but we still don't have that replacement for Ramsey, and whatever happens with Ceballos happens. But you know, we'll see. But yeah, it happens with a lot of the young players. Spitfire, what's your thoughts on Kolasinac?
I thought, again, solid. He done the job out there. You know, they did get forward a number of times on that right wing. But I thought he pretty much had it covered. You know, it all goes down to what your job is on the day, and that's to stop them from attacking, stop them coming forward. You know, they didn't have a lot going forward. You know, I don't mind them running up to the edge of the box if we're going to stop it and then get it back up. And I thought he was solid. I didn't see that many mistakes from him yesterday. And I think with the guy he had in front of him makes his job easier. So I gave him a 7 yesterday. It was solid. It was good.
Yeah, there's a reason for that. The formation that they was playing was one up front with Vardy, and we pinned Mustafi on him, which sort of made the other guys' roles a little bit more dispersed, if you like. The problem I've seen with Kolasinac, which I talked about in our last podcast on Sunday that you was with, is that players go by him too easily, and the overlap really kills him. He doesn't do well tracking players running in behind. And I think last night he didn't really have an issue with that. That wasn't a problem for him. If it happens, he defended it very well, but they didn't really expose that. Better teams like Spurs or Liverpool would definitely look to expose him if he's chosen. So it would be interesting to see. We haven't seen Rob Holding after 2 outstanding games. We haven't seen Rob Holding for a while, so I don't know whether that's a recurrence of his injury. They're really trying to look after him right now. But we'll have to see.
He was on the bench yesterday.
Yeah, but he did.
Yesterday.
It was, yeah, but he hasn't really played a part in the last few games, which I find strange considering he played really well. One of the games I gave him an 8. I thought he was outstanding. And the thing is, we've been talking about Rob Holding coming back to his form. And when you get games like that, you got to, strike while the iron's hot, as they say. Don't put the man on the bench for 3 or 4 games and don't give him no football. I get that the ACL injury was really bad, and they're trying to keep it calm and not get any flare up. So I mean, who knows? So guys in the chat, let's talk about Hector Bellerin. This is going to be really interesting because he's been criticized. I think I'll go first on this one. He's been criticized all the time for not getting forward, not getting past the halfway line. And my God, he still doesn't look like he's at top speed. There might be some lingering injury, long-term issue there, because he just doesn't run the way he used to. But he's starting to penetrate that final third for the first time this season. And he was playing 1-2s with Saka. He was really high up the pitch. That 39th minute, the cross he put right on Lacazette's head. Oh, what an assist that would have been! That was the best ball of the match. Forget the ball that led to Aubameyang's goal or the one that led to Vardy's goal. I thought that was the best cross in the game, to be honest, from Bellerin. So I gave Bellerin a 7.5. Guys in the chat, what would you give Hector Bellerin? Neomis, you got the conch.
I actually gave Bellerin a 6 in this game. I thought it was a massive improvement from what I saw in his previous games. And I think that I don't know if it's Cedric Suarez being there, which means that kind of that competition, like he knows like he's gonna have lots of competition now with Maitland-Niles there as well. And I felt that he definitely took a step up because the last time that he played, I think I gave him like a 4 or a 4.5. So for me, I thought definite improvement. He looked to drive forward, looked to try to create chances, and yeah, just like what you said with the cross with the diving header to that Lacazette tried. I thought that was great, but still defensively and tracking back, I still think he needs to work on that. There were some moments where I felt he was just caught out of position a bit, but good improvement. So for me, a good solid performance.
Excellent. So let's look at the numbers here, guys. Throw up your numbers so I can see what's going on, man. Emery Ian's given him a 7. Styler's given him a 4.
That was a mistake. It was a mistake.
Oh, right. Yes. Styler, play with me, brother. You're playing with me, your brother. So we've got here, David has gone with a 7.8. Style now gives a 6.
Okay,
Nice.
that makes sense.
It makes so much more sense. David's not playing around. Look, yeah, he played well, but get rid of him. We're still short on that right cover, man. I would like to see Niles further up the pitch, to be honest. From what everybody was saying, yeah, Niles ain't a midfield player. He's a midfield player. I want to see Maitland-Niles further up the pitch, doing some damage in the midfield. That's where I like to see him. 18's given him an 8. The 6 has gone 6.8. Mohamed's gone 6.7. Dan Bellerin.
8. I think I can't remember. The only thing I would say about him is what Naomi said. I seen him going a bit like coming forward when there wasn't anyone behind him. And that's, I don't know, I think Arteta was telling them to do that though. I think they were trying to overload that right flank with Saka and Bellerin and do a little overlap or something like that. But every now and again, they were catching us down that side because Vardy likes to go out to that left wing, don't he? So I feel like that's why they put on Christian Fuchs later on. They put on Christian Fuchs and the other Barnes, I think it was, to try and catch Bellerin when he was wandering a bit. But I think other than that, right, because I think that was a tactical decision by Arteta, I'm giving him an 8 because he did not put a foot wrong, bro. Like that guy was playing sick yesterday, and like you say, that ball, I don't even call that cross. I call that, like, you know, on FIFA when you hold L1 and press triangle. That's what that was. That was there. That's what that was. That was like a through ball over the top. You get me? That was. Like, but
it was quality.
People say Laka should have scored that, but it was hard, you know, bruv. Like he had to jump and try and direct it back across the other side. It was sort of a bit too difficult, but
I think he should. If that was Giroud, that would have been in the back of the net.
Yeah, but Giroud's lanky, bro. Come on, man.
The reason why the cross was so good because it was perfectly weighted.
It was
perfectly weighted. But the thing is, with those, you've got to head it downwards so that it hits the floor before it goes to the goal.
He was stretching to it. That's what I think. I think you're right. Giroud would have put that across the keeper into the corner, but I think Laka, because he was stretching to it, it worked quite but it was a beautiful ball. Best ball. No, I think Saka's was better, but marginal.
Because any quality striker, and they do it in training, when that type of ball comes in, it's not high. It's a very low ball with pace. He didn't have to put any pace on it because Bellerin did that for him. All you've then got to do is direct it, and then you make sure that when you connect with the ball goes downwards, not to the goalkeeper where the goalkeeper can just make a catch. You want to put it on the floor so it disturbs the goalkeeper's movement, if you like. And anyway, look, this is the Premiership, man. This ain't the French league. Lacazette was hitting 35, 40 goals a season, and he can't even get to 20 goals since he's come here. So and we were kicking Giroud in the nuts for scoring 20 goals. Yeah, we were bashing this man for scoring 20 goals. Yeah. And this brother here can't even get 20 goals.
But in a real though, Giroud was playing as a target man number 9. Lacazette, since he's been at Arsenal, has been playing number 10. Because we had Alexis Sanchez when he came as our main goal scorer, and then now we've got Aubameyang as our main goal scorer. Lacazette is expected to play as a number 10. That's why no one's noticed this about Laka. I always defend him, yeah, even though he annoys me as well sometimes. But like, just bear in mind, this guy's been playing number 10 since he's been at Arsenal. He's been playing number 10.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like, for me, he's not in our starting. Anyway, we're going to get to Lacazette. He's the last one we got to do. So yeah, so that's Bellerin. Spitfire.
Bellerin, I gave a 6.5. He's got so much more in the locker, or he used to have. Maybe he's just not the player he was before the injuries and so on. I think he got forward a few times, but I want to see so much more from him. I want to see that overlap, and like we're talking about a cross. I think you've done 2 good ones yesterday. I want to see 6, 7. I want to see him doing more. He used to run right up, inside the box, put a shot in. I know he's playing deeper now, but yeah, for me, he's not cutting it. I think David Otti said it a minute ago. Get rid of him. I never thought I'd say that about Bellerin, but man, I'm just not seeing what I expect of him. He's got to do some more.
So, guys, some good comments here. Lacaz has never played as a number 10, always up the top. I kind of, yeah. I mean, the thing is, you have to remember, when you're an anchor man like him, you're a good hold-up player. You're asked to drop back a little bit. So it's kind of like, it's like, look,
Bergkamp number 10, not Ozil number 10. You get me? That's
yeah, I'm saying interchanging. When I was at Watford, we did that. It's like Theo Walcott's not a winger. He was a false 9. He was always a striker. He proved that when he played for us. When he played up top, he was brilliant. But he wasn't a winger. But that's why we have the name false 9. With those type of Giroud, type of Lacazette, type of hold up to the ball, Emil Heskey type of players, they're used to hold up. So it's like a hybrid 10. Yeah. So it kind of goes either way. It's football, man. It's such a technical thing nowadays. So guys, Kieran Tierney. Some people actually gave him man of the match yesterday. So for me, I gave him 7.5. It never stops running. What I like about him is his aggression. He demands a lot from me. This man just walked into the team, Yeah, when you walk into the team, you're normally like the quietest person, and you stay at the back or in the corner and just let all the man do the thing there, and then you kind of move your way up. This guy is having none of that. He was ripping into some players yesterday, and some players who was well older than him. He was ripping into them. I see him shouting at Aubameyang at one time. I see him shouting at the captain. I said, this guy's got some brass ones on him, man. He don't play. His energy, his enthusiasm down that flank is... guys, listen, we're going into the argument. Me, Bertram, and the African Guna have had this triangle discussion about Monreal. Yeah, Bertram saying he's not as good as Monreal. The African Guna saying he's better than Monreal, and I'm stuck in the middle saying you're both right. Yeah, this guy's potential is way off the scale than Monreal. He's crosses. First of all, he's a better crosser of the ball than Monreal, and he's got that relentlessness. He never stops. He just keeps on coming. He's like a Terminator. He does not know when to stop. If you're defending him or you're playing against him, you gotta make sure you have your free shredded wheats and you're doing your press ups and squats and everything that week, because this brother for 90 minutes is gonna haul ass on you and he ain't gonna stop. And he's just like, look, the 6 is just saying here, he's a winner. This guy, Lee Dixon, all them guys, them right, Kenny Sampson. Watch what this guy is going to do in his career. He is a proper keeper, this guy. I gave him an 8 out of 10. Let's see if we got some scores here. Emery's gone for a 7. Davis gone for an 8. Cricketball's gone for an 8. Styles gone for a 9. 6, as I said, he's a winner. No other numbers coming in. Neomis.
Well, my mark is probably a bit harsh. I gave him a 7, but again, I've come on. This is the 3rd time I've been on the podcast, and I mean, again, just super consistent, hardworking, like crossing was the delivery impeccable. Again, just talking on the things that you said about his leadership abilities. Like so many times I saw him on the pitch galvanizing the players, and to be honest, he's probably going to be a future Arsenal captain. And I really can see it right now, and I probably should give you know what, I'll give him an 8 just because he was really that good. Like this is what 4 or 5 games I've seen him now since the restart, and again, like there's nothing I could really criticize him about except he hasn't scored a goal and he hasn't gotten that many assists. That is it. If you're talking as a defender, he's solid and he does everything we need in terms of the modern day fullback. Like, I mean, really good player.
Right, we still got you. Yeah, we have the mic spazzed out a little bit there. Let's see if we've got some. Turney is so good, bro. 18's giving him a 9. Kuke's giving him a 9 as well. Dan,
I gave him an 8 as well. Both wing backs got an 8 from me. I just want to go back to what you were saying about his screaming at players and stuff like that. This guy, he's captained Celtic before. Like, he weren't their main captain, but he's captained them. He's captained his country, Scotland, while he was a teenager. Do you see what I'm saying? This guy is a natural born leader. It's not like just something he's discovering in himself. I think when he first came last year, he was a bit timid or whatever because he's in the new team. But now he's part of it. He is going to be our captain, I'm telling you. That guy, because we ain't had... You know, like they always used to like captains to be like a fullback because you could see the whole pitch from that position, innit? And I feel like this guy is definitely going to be a captain. You know, we haven't really got a natural captain in the team right now, have we? And Kieran Tierney is screaming out for that. Why not give it to him next year, man? That's what I say. Because I don't think Aubameyang, he's really a proper captain. He's just there because he's the best player, isn't it? Like,
it's a mercy thing. Arsenal throw a mercy badge over to the guys to try and get them not to leave. You know, it's like you got a guy in your company who's a top salesman, and then the top salesman's like, you know what, that company there is offering me more money. And you're like, oh, really? Okay, we're going to make you area sales manager. We're going to make you team leader. We're going to do this to your salary. You just do the mercy badge. Yeah,
but at Arsenal, that's a curse, bro. That's a curse at Arsenal. Because you see what happens.
I've said it on here. The poison chalice. That's right. Our captains leave. They leave.
It's like a hot potato, man. Nobody wants to handle it until they're gone.
No, but I would say Kieran Tierney, future captain, 8, because... Like, he weren't getting done at all, man. And you know what I like about yesterday? He finished the game, innit? Like, he ain't been able to do that. His fitness has been slightly off. Like, he runs so much that he ain't been able to maintain it. But yesterday, he maintained it when we had 10 men as well. So, yeah, 8 for me.
I wanna say something, Spitfire. It looks like Bertram's trying to come in, but I've seen his mic being held for a bit. So I'm gonna hold on and wait to see what Bertram's doing to see if he's going to come in, because we still have 5 players to go. Spitfire, I talk about Kieran Tierney in regards to his development and non-development. You know, he's a ready-made player, and he's played in the Champions League against some big teams. Yeah, and apart from the Man United game where he was up against James, a really speedy, classy winger, and I still thought he held his own that game, even though he struggled. Nobody has had the better of this guy since he's played. Not one player has had the better of him since he's been playing for Arsenal, Spitfire.
William Wallace is so far my player of the season. I love Braveheart. He just for right now, he's what I want to see from every player. Yeah. This guy looks like he wants to win every match. He's going into every match like, I'm gonna play out of my skin. I think if he didn't get injured, it might have made a difference on our season. But this guy, I gave him an 8.5. He does nothing wrong in my book. He gets forward when he needs to, provides the crosses. I think he's where Monreal was going to go to next. I think he's better than Monreal, just for the sheer fact. Backwards, forwards, crosses. Like we said, the only thing he hasn't done yet is score a couple of goals. But there's no one that he's scared of.
How about that 35-yard shot, though?
Yeah. Yeah.
Mate, I'm waiting
When
for
he
him
done
to
that,
score.
I was like, did you just see that right there? Where did that guy pull that back from?
Listen, he's. I want to see that from everyone. That's what I want to see. I want to see that coming from the other side of the pitch. I don't feel like it's coming out from the right yet. He hasn't put a foot wrong in my book at the moment. He's the player that I want people to aspire to be like. He plays out of his skin every match. He puts his foot in there. He gets in the tackles. He gets the blocks, and I think he's making the difference on that whole left side. I think yesterday, where Leicester weren't as effective as they've been against other teams, is because you got him and then the tank behind him. You know, it takes a lot to get past him, and if you do, hopefully you run into that brick wall behind him. You know, playing forward and back. 8.5 for me. He's my player of the season so far.
Yeah, wow. Really?
Mm-hmm.
Mad. Yeah, look, I'm Dan is warming me up. I've said Rob Holding is my future Arsenal captain. But you're starting to turn me a little bit now. You're starting to get into me right now. And
this guy's the truth.
Yeah, boy. And that's my nickname for Rob Holding, the truth. Boy, you're starting to turn me a little bit up. Cool K, unlike Sonny, Apollo lets his panel speak. You made the same comment when we were on Sonny's last night. Sonny's pure love. Sonny's big. Guys, if you're not subscribed to Sonny's channel, please subscribe to his channel. He is the man that's bringing Arsenal fans together, and I love his channel. Last night I was as miserable as hell, and he really cheered me up when I went on his panel last night. I had a good old laugh, and I left there and I thought, nah, it's a draw. It's not the end of the world. Let's just roll over Spurs. Before that, Sonny phoned me up on my mobile and was like, "You coming on, bro?" I was like, "Sonny, man, I'm as miserable as shit right now. I don't want to talk to nobody." And he's like, "Come on, bro. You'll enjoy it. It's fun." And I know it is. So I came on and we had fun. It's just the way it is, man. Where are we going now? We're going with Xhaka. Always a fun subject to do. Guys in the shit, look, man's on there already. Granit Xhaka, my player of the season. Man's on there already.
Banter.
Guys, throw your numbers up for Granit Xhaka, please.
I hope that's banter. It's got to be banter. Got to be.
Neomis, you got the conch, man. Granit Xhaka.
Oh, Granit Xhaka. I gave him a 6. Again, it's another game where even though him and Ceballos played well in that 2 in midfield, can he start passing the ball forward? Like,
thank you.
The backwards passing, sideways, it's just. No, I'm done. Like we would actually create more chances for our strikers if he would just try 5 of those a game. I guarantee you, at least 2 of them will get on target, and we will score something out of it. That's my biggest criticism of Granit Xhaka. Yeah, he worked hard. Yes, he tried to track back defensively, but I mean, I've said it on this podcast again. Like, you know, he isn't the type of midfield player that I want in our midfield, but he did a decent job in the midfield. So I gave him a 6.
Right. Bertram's really trying hard to get in here. I haven't even seen his camera working, so I'm going to continue to work on that. Guys, and let's see what our boys are saying. It looks like Bertram's managed to break through. Are you winning? Are you winning, Bertram?
Give us the thoughts on your favorite player.
Bertram, are you winning?
You talking about Xhaka?
Yeah, that's your favorite player, right?
He's not my favorite player, but unlike other Arsenal personnel, I'm not like you guys. He defensively, he was there yesterday. You notice Arteta talks about 2 people yesterday a lot. He talked about Ceballos and talked about Xhaka. You know why? Because they blocked at the middle. It's not always about offense. It's also about how you play in front of the reason our defense is playing better, because in the midfield, we're compact.
Yes, of course, yes. And that's why that diamond 3-4-3 is working. It suits.
But I did blame Xhaka for the goal, though. I blame Xhaka for the goal. You know why? You know why I blame for the goal?
Why is
because
that?
You cannot allow the forward to sit there with the ball, have his time to pick out his pass, and there's no pressure on the ball.
That's Granit Xhaka.
Yeah, but guys...
But I'm just saying, in that situation, he got to pressure the ball. He has to pressure the ball.
Yeah, Bertram, when the stream started, I said exactly the same thing to the panel, but I said it about Mustafi. Why it makes more sense for Xhaka is because Xhaka's actually standing behind him. so he can see where he is. Mustafi's in front of Vardy, so he actually can't see Vardy's movement. So you're probably right. I agree with you that Xhaka being the person who can actually see the movement, but come on, Vardy will take him over 5 yards easily. Xhaka ain't quick.
It wasn't this. Go ahead, sorry.
Ain't it Xhaka that was supposed to be stopping the cross coming in? Like I swear it was Xhaka that was with Gray. He was the one like marking.
Yeah, that kid always does that for Leicester, right? He comes and he changed the game a lot actually with those same plays. He has the ball out right. He goes left, he goes right, and make good crosses in. Xhaka has to pressure the ball. It was very frustrating watching the whole play develop and saying, why aren't you going closer to him? He may go by you, but at least push him wide. Don't allow him to pick out the pass. And you can't blame Mustafi. The most difficult person to mark is a forward that's between two defenders. He's between two defenders. He's not sitting on any one defender. And you're back. He's facing your goal. Mustafi's facing the other way. It's hard to turn around. So I'm not going to blame Mustafi for that. He's an easy person to blame, but I would blame him.
Yeah, for me, you lock him in like you would do fighting for space on a rebound in the NBA. You got to lock him in, get your arms around him. Don't grab his jersey because he'll go down on the floor and it'll be a penalty. Lock him up.
Yeah, and when he does that, you all curse him like he did against Spurs with Kane. When he does that and he gave him a penalty, when we curse him to say he's the worst defender since sliced bread. I'm sorry, don't lock him up.
How much? What did you give Xhaka? What score did you give Xhaka?
I gave Xhaka a 7.
Okay, so same thing I gave him.
I gave him a 7. Look, I agree he's not passing forward enough, but you know what? Tobias is starting to do that, which is good.
Yeah, and I gave him a 7. For me, it was still a bit slow in the midfield, but the compactness is definitely helping. He was defending well too. Xhaka was defending on point yesterday, and I really liked what he was actually doing. He started to actually go forward with the ball a few times, so it was slightly better distribution from him. He gets a 7 from me, but still no killer passes, and that's what. Look, everyone's bigging him up about what a passer he is, and I'm challenging you guys every week. I'm going to come on here every time we do player ratings and talk about this every single time until this guy shows me that he can pass the ball. Because that's all you guys talk about. All you guys say is, Apollo, he's a great passer. Apollo, I even done a show based on his statistics and all of you lot kept quiet. Nobody said...
You know why we're playing well, guys? You know why we're playing well? Because you guys are at home watching. That's why we're playing well.
Oh, come on.
Mad thing.
I am not. I'm telling you, think about it. If you're Mustafi and every play you make, you're a groan, you're afraid to make a pass, just like Xhaka. You guys are home. They're comfortable. They are no pressure. They can play free. Come on. Maybe you should stay home more often. Maybe win the league next year if you guys stay home.
So, Neomis, did you give your grade?
Yeah, I gave him a 6.
Excellent. Before I go to Dan, let me see if there's any numbers up here for Xhaka, unless I missed something. No. Guys, in the chat, you haven't put your numbers up for Xhaka. We've got 18 with 5. Cricket Ball's gone with 6.5. Styles gone with 6. Cool K's gone with 5, as Apollo said, dead food. He actually did okay yesterday, though, bro. You know, we got to call it out when they're bad, but call them out when they're good as well, bro. It's still crap. But at least you jumped from a 5 to a 6, so that says something. David, 7.7. I hear you, bro. Dan?
3. I thought it was shit. Like, bruv, like, have you got the stats for how many passes he actually completed? Not percentage. How many passes did that guy complete yesterday? I'm sure he had more passes cut out than he actually completed. I'm not even joking, bro. I swear. I'm sure this guy did not. Half his passes were getting cut out, bro. That guy, he's a liability. Like, be honest, yeah. He is a liability. When we win in spite of Xhaka, not because of him. Like, we win in spite of him. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I wasn't sure. I always measure the amount of passes he gives away in each game. He didn't give away too much last night, which is actually very strange.
Maybe it's just because like the ones that he was giving away were so ridiculously bad. And also, yeah, you see when we went down to 10 men, why is my man marauding up there like some nomad, bruv? Like, what is he doing, fam? This guy.
Yes, I would agree with that. I was very disappointed with him. not only him alone, Willock too, and others pressing high.
Willock had to because he was our only attacking player.
No, you can't press high with 10 men because when they break the press, what happens?
Yeah, then you get killed.
Willock can get back. Willock can get back at pace.
Bro, that's like the 85 Chicago Bears defending the run against Joe Montana with Taylor and Jerry Rice on each side. It ain't going to happen, bro. They'll just go straight over the top. And those are the Wenger days, man, when we just used to get whipped.
Move. He can't move. Like, so why is he even up there? Like, Ceballos, I could understand maybe because he can maybe get back in time here, but because Leicester weren't punishing us, there was times where they caught us out and they were slow to build up, so we got time to get back into our shape. There were many times yesterday where Leicester didn't punish us, and a team that was a bit more swift in counter attack would have hit us on the break. You know what I'm saying? So I just think Xhaka was. I want to see the stats for how many passes he completed. I really do, because I felt like this guy was like out of 3 passes he complete 1. That's how I feel like it was yesterday.
I think you have to watch the game twice actually, because when your emotions are in the game, any bad play the play don't like make, like Mustafa and Xhaka,
it stands out. Yeah,
tenfold. Yeah. You have to watch it twice.
No, but also Bertram, you just reminded me the goal. Damari Gray's got the ball outside the box, and it was Xhaka that was on him. Yeah, I just watched it.
Yeah, it was Xhaka.
When we were talking, and my man is jumping up and down on the spot like he's playing a kid's game, hopscotch or something. But he's just jumping up and down on the spot, waiting for him to do something. The man does something and crosses the ball in. Tackle the guy, bro. What's wrong with you? Like the guy just standing there. Watch the goal again. Xhaka's
But, the one thing is Switzerland play 3-4-3 as well. And when you have somebody who has no range and no pace and isn't a box-to-box midfielder, that diamond midfield is perfect because it keeps everybody nice and tight. And look, like I said, square pegs and round holes. Arteta's doing what he needs to do to get this thing to work. Spitfire, Xhaka.
I gave Xhaka a 7 yesterday. I think, again, like Bertram just said, I think when people talk about Xhaka and Mustafi, they encompass what they've been like before, how they played in previous matches, how they played in previous seasons. I'm going off how Xhaka played yesterday. I'm not talking about if we were playing Liverpool, if we were playing whatever. Leicester can score goals. Leicester play 1 up front. In other words, the majority of their play and their good football comes from the midfield. Our midfield held them yesterday. Our midfield, I don't think we got overrun. All players make mistakes, a couple of mistakes a game. I don't think he done anything that was different from anyone playing for Leicester or anyone else in our midfield. I think he played solid. I'm one. I don't like sideways play, and he plays a lot of balls sideways. I want to see him take a shot. We know he's got a shot on it. We know he can lace that ball when he's ready. I'd like to see that from him. He didn't do enough of that yesterday, but I think he played solid. I think we can't get too hard on him for yesterday's performance. And he deserved for me, he deserved a solid 7. 7 for me is solid. When you play well, you do your job, you feed that ball out, you protect your back 4, your back 3, like they did yesterday, and I think he played well. So I gave him a 7.
Yeah,
we didn't lose the game because of our midfield, and by the way, I think we lost the game. That game yesterday we lost. We should have scored 4 goals in the first half. Write it off. This 1-1 score is nonsense. So I'm not going to blame my midfield or my defense. We should have scored the goals yesterday.
Yeah, we should.
It's the best game we played in the first half all season because we really create clear-cut chances, and yesterday the chances were clear-cut.
Against the top team. And La African Guna was you in the match day commentary, Bertram, yesterday? I didn't see you put too many comments in. La African Guna was saying to me straight off the bat, he was like, Apollo, this is going to come back and bite us. And I said to him, hold on, brother, man, hold on. He kept typing it, Apollo, this is going to come back. And then at the end of the game, he said, I told you so. So La African Guna was right. Big shout out to you on that one, bro. Guys in the chat, Ceballos, but before I get to Ceballos, David's saying, Apollo, if Xhaka was at Liverpool, I wouldn't, because if he was at Liverpool, they wouldn't win the league. This is they just wouldn't win the league. The way they pass the ball, the quick movement, the quick thinking. Look, I said this before. When he came in, we've never been in the top 4, and I don't think we ever will. I don't know what's going to happen next season, because if we don't get somebody in who can play alongside him, and Arteta gets that to work, I really don't know. But I stand to be corrected. If we make the top 4 next season with him, then I'll eat humble pie. But as far as what I said many years ago, I don't think this team would ever achieve top 4 with a player like that in the Premiership. He's just in over himself, and that's just my opinion. And as you know, all opinions are subjective. So, guys, let's go with Ceballos. Ceballos, wow. Okay, I'm going to go first on this one. Guys in the chat, throw up your numbers for Ceballos. Ceballos was my man of the match. I went 8.5. Outstanding performance, composure, cool, the best creative player on the pitch, driving the ball forward every time he touched the ball. His pass to Xhaka for the goal was superb. He split 3 players with that pass. If that was De Bruyne, that would be front page news on the next day. His defensive contributions are also key to the shape of the midfield and the defense. And he filled in at fullback when we had the red card, and nobody even talked about that. I'm talking about it. My man of the match, 8.5. I think he was brilliant, and I think he's growing from strength to strength to strength. Before it was, yeah, he's had one good game in 5, or we kept talking about the Burnley game. Then it happened at Norwich. Then it happened at Southampton. And it's just happening every game now that this guy's turning up, getting 8s. And when you have somebody like that, I think it's working really well. I think you do whatever you can to get him back in next season, because I'm starting to love this guy again. And I didn't think that was going to be the case. A month ago, I was saying, get rid, doesn't want to be here, looks disinterested, not interested. I'm going to work my way the other way around. Bertram, you got the conch on this. Guys in the chat, throw up your numbers for Ceballos.
So I'm not as high as Ceballos as you are, because I remember when he just started playing for us, he was world beater, and everybody wanted to sign him right away, and he fell off a cliff. So I'm going to withhold my judgment for a little while longer. The pass was a 10, or even an 11 out of 10, frankly. But the pass was under pressure, splitting 2 defenders, and with the right pace. And defensively, he was there, unlike a Ramsey who always run left his defense, and then we struggle. He actually seemed to be playing better defensively. Before, when he first joined, he went forward a lot. Now he's more balanced in his approach. I still think he spins too much. You got to make a decision up quickly and make a decision. And since he has a skill to get by people, he should do that more often. I gave him an 8.5. 8 for the pass and 0.5 for the rest of his game.
Excellent. Neomis, before you go, let's have a look and see what the boys are saying. Style is going with an 8. David's gone with a 10, man of the match. Yeah, again, I've gone with a 10. Well, I went with an 8.5. Cool K's gone with a 10 as well. 18's gone with a 9. Kez, what time you call this? Good to see you in the chat room, bro. Kez has gone with a 8 as well. And Neomis.
For me, Ceballos was my joint man of the match. I gave him an 8. I thought he was absolutely tremendous. I've never been more impressed by Dani Ceballos in that game. For me, he led the way. He was the one that was the real glue, and Xhaka followed, which is why I have to give him far more than I gave Xhaka. Defensively, like you guys said, he was solid, creating chances. He got the pre-assist for that Saka got for the assist for Aubameyang's goal. Yeah, I mean, he almost had a perfect game. Like, if he had scored a goal, I probably would have given him a 10. But he's really putting himself in a position whereby I definitely think we should get him back on loan next season to see what he can do, and then maybe have an option to buy. If he does well, then for me, he would have proven that he is good enough. And because I think his biggest issue is that he just hasn't shown consistency. But if he can play like what he played in the last game for the majority of games that we have, then we would have a serious player on our hands.
I talked to James B yesterday, and James said to me one thing. He said the one thing that is important to a player like that is he knows he doesn't fit into Madrid's plans next season. He knows that. But when he was miserable and he wasn't enjoying London before Christmas, and he felt disenchanted with where Arsenal was going, no direction. He just wanted to be. That was where you heard things. He wants to be at Real Betis, his boyhood club. He wants to go back home. I think what would be different now is Arteta showing him love and showing him the purpose that this team has right now and the potential that this team has. And he looks like he's enjoying his football. And when you've got somebody in that place, then you can convince them to come here next season for another loan. And that suits both teams because, look, Arsenal ain't got 37 million to go and give Real Madrid for this type of player right here. And it's really up to the player to go where he wants to go in terms of loan. So that thing is very achievable right now. And I hope he does come back here next season. I really do.
I have a concern about that. So what was the loan fee this year? 10 million?
12 million euros. Yeah.
So in 2 years, 24 million. You don't even own the player. So what are you going to do? After 4 years, you're going to spend like $48 million for a player that you don't even own? You can't have to sell on? You got to be careful about that whole loan, how much you're paying. 24 million in 2 years is a lot of money for a player that goes back home.
I didn't realize.
I don't know how you do that.
Yeah, but that's what desperate teams do. You know, that's what.
Yeah, but you might as well go out and buy somebody and defer a plan over 4 years and achieve a better result.
But they can't. They don't have the money to go and buy somebody. That's the reason why they coughed up the money to bring him in the first place. Because they,
need to be creative.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that again, everything depends on how high we finish up in the table. There's a lot of ideas that they can use to put some money together, but them guys know what they're doing. They spent more money than anybody last summer, so let's not hold them to the sword. I'm not mentioning any names, but we got some people on YouTube who just constantly slander and bitch and moan at the board because it's just like their second language now. You all know who I'm talking about, and I don't attack people on social media, so I'm not going to mention his name. But you can't keep talking about the owners every single time the team doesn't win. At the end of the day, you've got a manager who's doing really, really well. You got who's the third best team this year in the calendar year. You got players that he doesn't really want at the club, but he's trying to make it work anyway. And then you've got a lot of work. The owners have to back him. If Josh Kroenke comes out as a director and backs Arteta in the summer, I think we'll be okay. Dan, I had something to say to wind you up. Yeah. All right, here we go. Dan, that pass Ceballos played, that's what we should be hoping for from Xhaka, right?
Definitely. Why is that going to wind me up? It's facts, isn't it? Straight
It is.
Jack ain't playing that. Never, man. You have to.
That's what I'm saying, bro.
He did the previous game and Saka was offside. What are you talking about? He did make that pass. The one when Saka was offside on? You forgot that pass. Got to go back to your tape.
No, I remember it. I remember it. But
yeah, and Saka on the left side, and Saka was outside. I think it was 2 games ago.
Saka was offside because he played the ball too late. That's what happens when you play the ball too late.
Saka went too early.
When you play the ball early, he's onside, so he ain't getting nothing from me. Go ahead with that, man. Saka ain't getting nothing from me from that. Dan, this is yours.
I reckon he sliced it anyway, but what was I going to say? Ceballos is definite man of the match, man. I gave him a 9 just because, like, you lot were saying Xhaka did his little bit in the midfield and stuff. That was because Ceballos was covering him. I noticed they were double teaming players. I can't, like, whoever was in that middle, them two were double teaming. One would go in front, one would go behind, but it was always Ceballos that was making the tackle. If you actually zoom in and watch them slow-mo or whatever, it was always Ceballos that was actually nicking the ball. And the thing I love about him is he's got bite to him. He's not like your average Spanish deep line playmaker. He's got a bit of like nastiness, and it's not bad nastiness. It's like a good little bite to him that I like about him. And he's starting to play. You know what Arteta's doing to him? He's putting him in the KDB role. That pass was very reminiscent of KDB. He's got him picking up the ball and driving with it like KDB does. Like when he first came, he weren't doing that. You get me? And also, just want to say, like you lot were talking about his form dropping and him being disenchanted and that. You have to bear in mind the guy picked up an injury. So when he had that injury, so it took him a little while to get going again, man. That's what I notice. Arsenal fans more than anyone were impatient with injuries for good reason, because of people like Wilshere, Diaby, Eduardo, all these guys, Ramsey, Welbeck, always injured. So when players get injured, we're super impatient with them, but it takes a long time to get your game back after an injury. You get me? So I feel like a part of the problems you were seeing with Ceballos was rust. So I think he got a 9. He was definitely the man of the match, even for that pass alone. But everything else he did was spot on. Like if Bellerin didn't put a foot wrong, this guy put every foot right. You see what I'm saying? He was always there when he needed him, and yeah, 9.
Yeah, Spitfire. Could you imagine Thomas Partey and Ceballos in the midfield playing holding midfielders together? That would be a combination in heaven.
Or Xhaka and Partey. more realistic, because we own Xhaka, so it's more realistic. Ceballos will go back home.
That would be the definition of Laurel and Hardy, man. Albert and Costello. Jeez.
And I only get frustrated with Ceballos after the Liverpool game, because in the Liverpool game he was totally lost. Like a fish out of water. When we played Liverpool, Ceballos was totally lost. I sat there watching him thinking, what happened to the player who played previous weeks? And in that game, he was outclassed, he was lost. And it took me a while to get round to saying, you know what, you're a player, because when you play against the best, you have to produce your best. And he was lost.
All them young viewers are going, Laurel and Hardy, Albert and Costello. Black and white TV. Yes, televisions used to be black and white, young children. Let's go with so Spit, you gave your mark. So we've done Ceballos on the table. So we're gonna move to Saka. So I'm gonna go with Bertram again on this one, because we were quite critical of Saka in the last game with him on the right, and he started off the game in the same way, didn't he, Bertram? He looked like a fish out of water, but I might as well go because I'm talking about it, so I might as well give my grade. I gave Saka a 7.5. Great work ethic, picked out the pass needed to give Aubameyang his goal. Look at the replays again. It's inch. I mean, there's a defender right in front of Aubameyang, and he puts the ball where the goalkeeper can't get it and where the defender can't get it. It's pin perfect. It is. And he got into so many areas in the overlap with Bellerin that gave Leicester trouble. But it was a slow start. But the difference this time was he grew into the game. And I can't believe this kid's got 12 assists. 12. Think about that for a second. Alex Song had 16 assists and put in one of the most definitive performances for an attacking midfielder in Arsenal in decades. And this guy is 18 years old. He's got 12 assists. His confidence is growing. That shimmy that he did past Jonathan Evans was nice. That was like a killer crossover that would have put man on him butty. Yeah, I loved it. And again, created the chance for Lacazette as well, that Lacazette fluffed up. Otherwise, he would have had 2 assists. Bertram, you got the conch.
So last game was very hard on Saka. And I think what happens is after a while, you realize how players play, and you play to their strengths or their weaknesses. He's being bodied a lot nowadays. They're playing him much more physical, and that's why he looks like a little bit fish out of the water. But yesterday, it wasn't the pass that he made more than anything else. It was how quickly he froze the defender, then make the pass. He shift left. That's what I keep saying about Tierney needs to do. Shift left, then go back right, froze the defender, and then he's thinking about the pass more than anything else, even though he has to get rid of the defender. Which you can show that his brain he has a footballing brain. And the pass was, Aubameyang didn't have to do much except walking in the goal. It'd be hard for him to miss that goal. So look, he played better yesterday. I still think on the left, he's much more comfortable on the left. He's now come from the right, and it's very obvious that he's not come from the right. And Arteta want to get him in the team. That's why he keeps playing him there. But he just got to rethink that. Why does he try Aubameyang on the right sometime? Why does he have to be in the left all the time? Maybe switch Saka, because if you watch Man U play the other day, they switched Martial and what's his name, Rashford, continuously throughout the game. We don't switch our wingers at all.
We've got, first of all, I did want to say something about that, and it was you specifically I wanted to direct this to, because we both had the same opinion on him in the last game. Have you noticed that when he's improving, it's because he's moving into the middle, right back in that middle spot? Remember, he was a part of before he went on the right for Pepe's position, he was smack bang in the middle of that midfield. Where we're seeing him doing well is because he's coming inside and make himself accountable on the inside level of that diamond. And that's where he's making it happen. Anytime you put him on the right, he just looks lost. He just and I talk about affinity. Affinity, guys, is in martial arts, is very important to the way you move, how much strength you can get in your right hand, strength you can get in your left hand. And that's, we know about southpaws, and we know about how they train boxers with their weak hands. You are stronger on the affinity that you lean to. Your body innately is stronger on the side that you're more comfortable with. And that holds well for football as well. I'm left-footed, I played on the left wing. If you put me on the right, I'd be shit. Yeah, it's just the way how the human body works. And he's having problems with that right now. It's more than just him and not having a right foot. Some people say, he needs to have a right foot, he needs to have a right foot. The body, his mind, the way your equilibrium and your balance works, it's just you're more comfortable on one side. So when we see him in the middle, he looks a much more balanced and stable player. And all the success he's having in this team right now is coming from when he shoots into the middle, when he diverts into the middle. Sometimes Pepe does that as well, although Pepe is adept on the right and on the flank. It's just Pepe does so much damage when he comes into the middle, which is why Bertram is saying that Pepe should play in a pivot role as well. Because if you got the ability to go past players, how much damage can you do in the middle of the park? David is asking me, no, it's not there. It was somewhere else. It says here it is. David says, who does he remind? He reminds me of Ryan Giggs. That's who he reminds me of. He's got so much ability. He's got pace. He's got confidence. He can go. He can put the ball. He can nutmeg through you. He can go past you left or right. This guy is just getting started right now. He reminds me of a young Ryan Giggs at the moment. Neomis, talk to me about Saka.
So Saka, I gave a 7. I think he had a really good performance, definitely better than the last game on the right. Still, I think I agree with you guys. Like, he did grow into the game. Of course, he got the assist, which was good. Again, I'd like to see him play out more on the left, because I think that's where you're going to get the best out of him. I think the synergy between him and Tierney, watching both of them play before, I think is what we're missing. But I get the whole thing where it's probably a situation where Aubameyang himself is probably not that comfortable on the right, or maybe him cutting in on his left. Maybe he isn't that good on his left. So I think that's probably the only issue that we kind of have to solve. But overall, good game by Saka. Again, want him to see him score some more goals. But again, you're talking about an 18-year-old. He's been one of our best players this season, and I can't complain about him. So really good performance from him.
Excellent. So we've got some scores on the doors here from these guys, and guys, put your numbers in. Stephen, not heard anything from you in a bit. We've got David at 9.2. Style 7.5. Cricket Ball has gone with 7.5 as well. Kez has gone with a 7. The new Sterling, no, I'm still holding out for Reece Nelson to be developed into that role, or I'm still holding out for Arteta's only been with these guys for 3 months, man. Let's give him some time. Yeah, he developed so many players at Manchester City in the years that he was in there. He's only been training with these guys for less than half the year, so I'm still holding out for Reece Nelson there. Nelson's not really getting much time. 10. The 6 has gone for 10 for Saka. 18's gone for 8. Any more scores on the doors? I don't think so. Kuke's gone for 8.5. Dan?
I give him a 7.5. I think he was like everyone said, he's not suited to the right hand side. And I noticed you lose something from his game in terms of his defense. Like when he's on the left, he gets back and he sort of protects the defense a lot more. And when he's on the right, he don't seem to be comfortable doing that. Do you know what I mean? And we're a lot more open. And I know it's Bellerin as well, yeah, but I do think he provides more defensive cover when he's on the left hand side. Because I watched a little video of him talking the other day, and when he was a youth player, he came up doing left wing and left back. This is the first time in his entire career where he's been a right winger. So it's obviously it's a bit difficult for him, and we can all see that. But in regards to people, this is the last point. In regards to people saying, "What about his right foot?" I think we all agree the pass was beautiful to Aubameyang. Yeah, that was on his right foot, fam. That's all I'm gonna say. He put in 2 brilliant crosses with his right foot yesterday. So he has got a right foot. He's got a right foot. He's not one-footed at all. So that's what I'm gonna say.
Totally agree. And David saying, yeah, David, that's the reason why I said Ryan Giggs. The thing, David, if they develop him on the inside, then I see him more of a Paul Scholes type of player, because he has that ability to just make you look stupid with a pass. He really has. We need to fill ourselves with midfielders who can make these passes. You know, we're talking about the Three Musketeers, you know, Riziki, Nasri, Fabregas. Each and every one of them can pinpoint a pass. Ramsey could do the same. And then we end up with a situation where we have a player like Xhaka who's not able to find runners who are going through. If we can get Ceballos, Saka, Smith Rowe, if we can get some of these guys, even if Willock develops, I haven't really seen a pass from Willock yet, even though he does have it in his locker. That game where we lost against Liverpool in the Carabao Cup and we lost 5-4, that was the best game I've seen Willock play. Willock was absolutely pivotal to that game. He just ruled the middle of the park, and I kind of haven't seen that yet, although we've seen flashes. But again, he'll develop. So yeah, I think that's where I see him. There's so many places. This guy's played in 4 different positions. His first year in the first team, and he's played in 4 different positions. Spitfire, you got the conch, man.
I gave him a 7. The right isn't for him. He looks out of place. He doesn't look like he can do as much damage as he can coming off the left. I gave him a 7 because although he played well, he didn't play at his usual standard. I think he plays much better when he's comfortable. Cuts in more, takes more shots, assists more, and just plays the 1-2s more. On the right, he doesn't look like it. Doesn't look comfortable. Square pegs around holes. Just a 7 for me. Played okay, played decent by our standard of play yesterday, but underperformed in terms of how good we know he can be on his day.
Okay, guys. So that we're just 2 more to go now, and we've got Aubameyang. So let's keep this motion as actually we'll go clockwise. We'll do the Brady Bunch squares now. So we'll go with Neomis. Guys in the chat, put your numbers up for the captain Aubameyang. Neomis, you go first. You got the conch on this one.
For me, I gave Aubameyang a 7. I thought he had a good performance. Obviously, scoring the goal. Worked hard to track back at times, but I wanted to see more from Aubameyang. There was times in the game for me where I felt that he could have done more in terms of the team. But yeah, overall a good performance. But for me, if it wasn't for the goal that he scored, I might have given him a little bit lower than that. So overall, I thought it was a decent performance.
Excellent. Have we got any scores in for Aubameyang yet? Yes, we have. We've got 18 that's going with an 8. We've got Style who's going with an 8. Kez has gone with a 7. And Cool K's gone with a 7 as well. Great movement to get into position for the goal. Yeah, and that's what he's good at. That's why they pay him the big bucks. And funny, I had a match day picture of Aubameyang on one side and Vardy on the other, and they were both of the guys who scored in that game. David's given him a 6.5. Scrickaball's given him David's given him a 7.6. Sorry, Scrickaball's given him 6.5. Could have done more to get the 3 points. Look, if he was in the position that Lacazette was in, then he would have done more. But that's the difference when you're playing on the left and you have a ball that's delivered into the box and it goes to the point man. The anchor man has got to finish those chances, and Lacazette didn't do that. I think if those chances fell to Aubameyang, then we probably would have been 2 or 3 up. But then it's the boss's decision not to play Aubameyang in the middle. He plays him on the left. I don't think he offers you too much on there. Although in the last few games, he's got a few assists. Me and Bertram, again, we've been bringing this up with each other because we're clock watching what he's doing off the ball. And I think he's been playing so well defensively. He's been inconsistent in that reign. But the last few games, Aubameyang has been top class defensively. I've given him a 7.5 yesterday. He just backtracked and defended well. He's putting in a captain's performance off the ball. The Six is saying 7.5 because he's consistently probably scoring. But again, measuring on his defense as well, guys. That's very important for the captain. Dan.
I give him a 7, 7.5. Like I think, like you just said, I'm loving his work rate recently, because that used to be one of the problems with him. We didn't used to do enough to help the guys behind him, and I just feel like lately he's been putting in a massive shift for the team. Especially the last 3 games, I've noticed this guy has run his socks off, bro. And he never gets injured, and he never comes off as a sub. Like, this guy is just made of something else. That's why we need to sign him, because even 2 more years of this, I give him his 250k, bro. Like, what are we doing? Like, 2 more years of this, and like, it will be worth it. That's what I think. So yeah, 7.5.
Nice one. Spitfire, can you hear me?
I can. Yep.
Yeah,
can you hear me?
Yep. Yeah, Aubameyang,
Uber. I gave Uber an 8. I think he played well, and I think it was more to do with his running down of the defenders. He was chasing defenders down, chasing the keeper down, the defensive work. Get the goal. Had we had 11 on the pitch, I think we would have beat them 1-0, and I'd have been happy with that 1-0 to the Arsenal. But I think he done a lot of running yesterday. So it's not just about him scoring 3 or 4, whatever. It's about how you forced them back. And I think our front 2 yesterday, our front 3 held the defense back, and that's why Leicester couldn't play. That's why they weren't really doing as well as they could. We held them back, and Uber was a big part of that. You defend from the front,
Yes,
so he was chasing everything, not giving them any time on the ball, and I loved that. That left-hand side, not much came down from that side. So yeah, I gave Uber an 8 off for yesterday's performance.
Yeah, Bertram, what's your thoughts on the captain's display? Is on mute.
Oh, I'm sorry. I think he's growing into the role. I think he's almost demonstrating now that he wants to be here and realize that he's now the captain. And his examples, he needs to exemplify the role of a captain. So you can see him growing into the role. I do think we got to be selective in our press, though. When Klopp first came, he used to press a lot throughout the game, and his team would die in the second half or die late in the season. And he started doing selective pressing. You can't press that hard in the game unless you can keep the ball. City can rest on offense. They can actually rest on offense and then save the pressing when they don't have the ball. We can't afford that, because we can't keep the ball. So if you press really high and you're all out, we were a dead second half. That's why probably Jack and others were closing down, because you're a dead second half. It's harder with 10 men. You have to be a selective presser until you get the ability to keep the ball. Then you can rest on offense versus the way we're operating today. But I thought I gave him a 7. I thought he put in a captain shift. He looked a little bit tired late in the second half, but that's to be expected. But I do think Arteta's been talking to him. You can actually see Arteta's man-to-man management coming out in the player's performance. And you can see probably having conversation with Abba that he has to demonstrate that he's the captain and people will follow him. I'm not sure Abba is used to leading. He's been the leading goal scorer, but not natural leader, but he's evolving. So it's a good thing for the team.
So that brings us to our last person, which is going to be Lacazette. So guys in the chat, throw your numbers up for Alexandre Lacazette. And before I do, David wants to know what my prediction for the game is. I'm going to shoot that video tomorrow, I think. My prediction is going to be 2-0 Arsenal. Actually, 2-1. I'll give Spurs a goal, and I think it's going to be Ceballos, and I think it's going to be Aubameyang that's going to score. But guys, please hit the like button on this video. Please hit the like button. Hit that like button on this video. And let's hear your scores for Lacazette. Neomis, you got the conch. I'm going to enjoy this round. Blackazette, Cacazette, Crapazette.
Alex Lacazette, or I mean, when I did my review yesterday, I gave him a 6. But when I went and really watched some of the chances that he had again, I've got to drop that to a 5. Like, he worked hard in the game, and you could tell like he really did give a lot of effort. But there were too many chances that he had that you can tell that our players were trying to set him up with a goal to continue that good confidence run, where I'm like, come on, Lacazette, like you've got to score it, and he just didn't. And I know he scored one that was ruled as offside, but I expect more from Lacazette, and this game just proved that I think Lacazette's time at Arsenal is done. I don't think he's the type of striker that we need. I think his confidence is completely shot. And to be honest, it's really disappointing because last season, I think he was a pivotal part in our performance. So for me, it has to be a 5.
So in this, I was a bit miffed with this over the week because in the last game, I thought he took his goal really well.
Yeah.
And in this game, I might as well go now because I'm on the clock. In this game, I gave him a 6 out of 10. I thought his hold-up play was spot on. And I thought that he did well in that pivot role to hold on to the ball. But my issue is what he did with the ball. He didn't do anything pivotal, like he didn't create enough chances. When you hold the ball up, you got your back to the defense. You've got to have that vision to look around and put people into play. And we're not seeing that from him, even though his hold-up play was really well. Creatively, he just, he had 11 assists last season and 18 goals, our player of the season. He's still got 10 goals this season. A lot of that is coming off the bench. So I like him as an impact player. I really do. But for me, our striker should be Eddie Nketiah. And it's going to be interesting to see what Lacazette's going to do now. He's got 3 games that he can put together back to back. To be honest with you, I'd like to have a look at that 18-year-old Balogun or whatever his name is. I'd rather look at that brother there than play Lacazette for 3 games. Yeah, I would, especially if you're going to sell the guy. Have a look at him first. Look, we were ready to float off Eddie Nketiah in January before Arteta saw what he could do. when Arteta saw him drilling goals in practice and working hard and running everybody down, Arteta was like, this brother here ain't going nowhere. So I'd rather have a look at this Balogun guy and play him probably against Aston Villa or Watford or something like that. But look, I like he got a bit more involved, but his poor finish and a subpar link play. Look, I'm being generous giving him a 6. Yeah, no, I'm being generous.
He had chances in the first half, particularly. There was a moment whereby I think it was Aubameyang and Saka were both running on the wings. He'd received the ball, dropped so deep to the point where he was almost in central midfield. All he had to do was turn around and ping the ball to one of them, and that was it. And one of them would have been in the right position. But I really don't know what's up with. I don't know if it's a confidence thing, what's going on, but something is not right up here with him in terms of like just his general play.
You know what it is? Also, the system is too much for him. Bertram alluded to the point where he's talking about players' fitness, the system, the philosophies. There's certain players who can't get into this team because they just don't have the work ethic to do it. And you have to be very demanding. He can't do what Eddie Nketiah can do. He can't. Yeah. I saw him in the first 10 minutes yesterday trying to run everything down. And I looked at him and I was like, that's more like it, bro. That's more like, but he couldn't keep it up. After 20 minutes, he was mash up, broke, tired, because he can't do what Eddie can do. He just doesn't have the body for it. So look, his limitations is within himself. And that's why he's not starting. My man said Lacazette, which is what I've been calling him on my videos this season. Man said Lacazette. Yeah, I do normally call him Lacazette, but yeah, you've given him a 3. Let's see what our other guys are saying. Cricket Ball's given him a 4. Style has given him a 5. David's gone for a 6.8. That's generous, David. Kez has given him a 6. Cool K is giving him a 4. Used to not like Eddie, but I love him. Now, I told you, listen, the same thing that I said to the African Guna. When you look at, forget what you see anywhere else. Look at what Eddie does on the field. Look what he does when he doesn't have the ball. And the amount of running and pressuring that he does. That is what somebody in this system should be doing. Any more scores on the doors? David's saying Balogun is better. Yeah, listen, I would take that right now. Dan.
I gave him a 6.5. I thought in the first half, I posted it in the group. I thought he had an excellent first half. The chances he had, I don't know when that Bellerin chance came, but I thought that was his best chance, and it was a difficult
39th minute.
Yeah, well, that was a difficult chance for a man of his size. Do you see what I mean? If he was a bit taller, we would have got a better header on that. But the other chance where Casper saved it, he had to make that himself. He carved that out himself. He got the ball with his back to the goal, held off a massive defender, turned around and smashed. There's not a lot he could have done, man. I think.
Yeah, but that's his forte, though. That's his forte, isn't it? Back to the
that's his exact move. That's his exact move. But I think people are being a bit harsh because one thing I didn't see anyone notice is his ball retention in that first half was amazing, bro. There were times where he had like 3 men around him and he managed to hold on to the ball and still give it off to a player. I know what you're saying, Neil. He missed that ball to the wing, and another time I seen him give it to the wrong wing. But overall, I thought he had a very good first half. He was one of the standout players in that first half. And then in the second half, obviously hindsight's a lovely thing, but I wish he stayed on, man, because we wouldn't have lost that game.
Yeah.
And what happened to Lacazette can last the full 90 minutes in that sort of performance that he was playing in yesterday. He can last that. He was playing all last year, and a lot of Lacazette's goals come right at the end of the game. And that's what he used to say himself. He gets vexed because he would get a goal in the 84th minute or something because the defense is tiring. They're a little bit weak or whatever, and he was already a strong guy, and he would score a goal. And because he always comes up 60 minutes, that's why he's not getting as many goals this year. That's what I feel. So anyway, I give him a 6.5 because in the second half he was a bit worse, but so was the whole team, bro. They were overrunning us. To get me, that weren't really his fault. So 6.5.
Yeah, it makes you wonder why Wenger used to take him off after 70 minutes, isn't it? When the man's just getting started. It's like Bertram. It's like when you get a running back like Le'Veon Bell, a running back like your running back for New York. You need to give them. Some people say share the load, give them 12 carries each. Some running backs don't actually start getting warm until you give them 10 carries or 15. Yeah, that's the reason why we see these guys have 20, 25 carries a game, because the running back has to feel his way into the blocks, feel his way into the game. And you're not going to get production if you're just giving a man 10 carries a game. So it's the same kind of thing. Go on, you want to say something? You can actually go before.
I don't necessarily agree. I mean, Dan said something earlier, but I thought it was interesting. He said Laka plays in the 10. I don't think Laka plays in the 10. I think he plays a hybrid. So he goes very deep to get the ball. That's sometimes why he's not in position to score a goal. Yesterday,
that's what I said, bro. That's what I said. He's a hybrid.
Yeah, but I'm saying yesterday, Laka is a better player than Aubameyang. You're just not going to go goal scorer or just athletic. He's a better company. I mean, Laka holds the ball up really well. Laka's problem is he's lost confidence in his scoring ability. It's not about the French league or the Premier League. He just lost confidence in scoring ability. Yesterday, he had 3 clicker chances. First of all, he shouldn't have offside on that goal, that tap in. He shouldn't have been offside, even though it was barely offside. The header should have been headed down. You can't head the ball straight in the air to a person who is that high. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah,
he was over the ball. He could head it down. And the third one is his forte, where he holds off a defender and he makes room for himself, and he got a clear shot on the goal. So it wasn't like a tap. He got a clear kick. He should have done better with that. Having said that, I thought he played well overall. Yeah. But you're judged as a striker by how much goals you scored. So I gave him a 6 because he really should put away one of those chances. If he did, we would have won the game. And I'm not going to blame us yesterday about tiring because, as I said before, we pressed too hard in the first half and we had no legs in the second half. And if you can't keep the ball, all you're going to be doing is chasing ghosts for the whole second half. Leicester started. What happened with us with Brighton is the same thing with Leicester, which is when they were down, they started pressing us more instead of playing more with the ball. That happened with Brighton also, where we went ahead. Brighton stopped just staying back and started coming forward. We can't handle the pressure. We can give it, but we can't take it.
So we've got our last member of the panel now. Spitfire, you're going to head us off. Your thoughts about Lacazette?
Laka, I gave Laka a 7. Dan pretty much said most of the stuff I was going to say about Laka. He likes to play back to goal for one. His retention is very, very good. it's not always about, and I know as a former striker, it is about scoring goals. But with Laka, it's not always about him scoring goals. It's about him supplying the others. I don't think Saka done enough on the right, cutting in for Laka to play him that 1-2, make a little bit of space, get the ball back, and have a shot and create that space. I think he done well in terms of holding up the ball, forcing their defenders back. They couldn't play for as long as they like to play. Leicester like to play it from the back. They like to, tap it around the defense and then get it up to the midfield and build it, and then wait for that Jamie Vardy just to go like that and then hit that long ball for him, that quick ball. We stopped that from the front. We defended from the front yesterday, which started with Laka. So I'm not going to get on him and say he played terrible. I don't think he did. I think he played slightly different. His confidence, yes, like Bertram said, his confidence isn't there. As soon as we took him off, we saw the difference. They started to attack more. Eddie, I know you love Eddie. I'm still I'm not casting my opinion yet. He ain't that great to me. I know you're a fan of Apollo. We'll fight about this all day. But, it just goes to show once Laka was off, they started playing in our half more. And it's no coincidence that, that silly ball Eddie gets sent off. With Laka, I don't think that would have happened. Laka, for me, played solid yesterday. Played all right. He's not going to score every match. I'm resigned to the fact that Laka is not a one goal a game guy. He's not going to score every match. But as long as he can hold the ball, playing the other two that are coming around him, which is why I'd like to see somebody like ESR behind, shooting at goal, or whoever. Laka played as good as Laka can play at the moment for me. So I give him a 7.
Excellent. So, guys, we've got another question from David. Do you rate Mourinho? The answer, David, is no. I don't rate him. I don't rate him for 2 reasons. One, because the word 3-year syndrome came from this guy right here. Every 3rd year in a team, he breaks it. He did it at Chelsea twice, did it at Man United, did it at Real Madrid. He just, when he doesn't get his way, throws his toys out the pram, turns on the players, turns on the board, turns on the fans, and you can't have anybody like that. Yes, he's been very productive as a winner. I did respect him at that point, but when he said Wenger was a specialist in failure, that's when I took the gloves off, and I can't deal with people like that. In the same way,
Apollo. There's a difference between not liking someone.
I'll let you go afterwards.
Come on, Apollo.
I'll let you go afterwards. In the same way that I don't respect somebody like Xhaka, who swore at the fans and still hasn't apologized. I've got a line, and once you cross that line, I'm done. And what he said, especially as a failure, look, I'm a manager, yeah? There's certain things, I might not like other managers for the company you work for or whatever, or blah, blah, blah. But as a professional, you get on with your managers for professionalism. You respect it. It's an unwritten rule, and you don't come out and start calling other managers names and things like that. And for me, he's a scum. You can't do that. He's below. There's for me, the sooner he's out of the game, the better. That's how I think. And actually, he's at the right team. So I like the fact that he's at Tottenham at the moment, because man's just blowing it up. So as long as they sign him to an extension and keep him there as long as they want, then that's all good news. Bertram, you can tell if you want. Guys.
Look, I'm not saying I like Mourinho, but if you win 3 Champions League in 3 different leagues, you have to be doing something right. Come on. I mean, you have to be doing something right. No matter what your...
If you destroy...
Porto was no money. Porto was no money. I'm sorry. Inter was no money.
If you destroy every team you've been at in the 3rd year, then there must be something wrong. So I've just countered your argument.
Well, you know what? If you come to Arsenal and win 3 Champions League, I would take all the nonsense that goes with it. I also 1 Champions League. 1 Champions League. I take 1 Champions League, and I take all the crap that goes with it. We haven't won 1 yet. Sorry.
Look, man, saying
he's an ass, you know what? But people, just like Roy Keane, there's some people who are volatile temperament, who are just different, who we tolerate because, you know what, they produce. That's how life is. That's like you talk about a great salesperson. A salesperson could be someone you just want to be around, but they're producing the revenue, so you're going to bring them on board, you're going to work with them. It happens in every industry, in every business, in any part of life. And look, Mourinho is a difficult character. He has attributes which you shouldn't want your children to assume, but at the same time, He's a serial winner. And we talk about money. Pep, where's Pep won without money? Where has Pep won without money?
The same could be
Mourinho won a Porto without money. No, Mourinho won a Porto without money.
Yes, he did.
Pep
but
hasn't done
after Porto, what happened?
But he went to Inter and win. Did he win at Inter?
Into that
He
team.
didn't have a ton of money at Inter.
No, but they still put money in the team. Not
He's
Real
won
Madrid.
everywhere he's been. He's won everywhere he's been. He came back to Chelsea and won. He won at Chelsea, left and came back and won when others didn't. Come on, he's a serial winner.
That Chelsea team spent $500 million 15 years ago, and Claudio Ranieri couldn't get them to win, and he got them ticking. I'll give him that.
He had to launder his money someplace, so he did it at Chelsea.
Yeah, that team was $500 million. You give, it was again. People talk about taking steroids and drugs for an advantage, and now we're using money. This is mad thing right here, guys. That's it for the show tonight. Just want to say thank you to my panel. Thank you very much, Neomis. Neomis, where can we find you?
You can find me on my Twitter page at AFC Neomis.
Excellent. And of course his YouTube channel as well. Dan, where can we find you?
Everywhere at IdhanYT, Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube.
Excellent. Spitfire, where can we find you, man?
You can find me in the Goon Squad WhatsApp. We'll leave the number up here, and on Instagram at mugshots.ph. Mugshots with an S.ph.
Excellent. And Bertram, where can we find you, bro?
You can find me anywhere you can find Apollo.
101. Yeah, 101. Go 101. And guys, also for all of you who are in the chat room, if you haven't subscribed to the Facebook channel, the description is in the link below this video. Just go into the description and you'll be able to see a link to 101. You'll also see a link to my movies and TV review page as well. That's on there. And just come on in, join the fun. It's a great community, guys. A lot of banter, and you'll be able to enjoy it as much as you do the sports and the live streams as well. And listen, I want to say,
sorry, Apollo.
Sorry,
is there a WhatsApp for the movies as well?
I haven't really got it because that's filling up real quick, man. So I haven't really done that and promoted that in that way. But yeah, we like to talk about our movies, man.
We like movies guys, as well.
Yeah, we love it, bro. We love it. So that's it from any closing arguments before we shut it down, guys.
I would just like to say, Mourinho, horrible person, horrible person. Great manager if you want the Champions League for a season or two. Just give him a 3-year contract, knowing that he's going to go after the second or third. But as a person, hate him. He disrespected our greatest manager. So yeah, I agree with Bertram and yourself.
That's what Man United thought when they gave him all that money, and they gave him 738 million in 3 years at Man United, and thought they were going to get a Champions League. And look what them get.
Yeah, but they took Sanchez as well.
Man, good. Fling some licks on them backside. Hey.
My closing point is that I'm concerned about us. So Chelsea, Man U, Man City, Liverpool seem to be at a different level. Man U has actually recovered. I love their midfield. Their forward line is young, only getting better. Unless we invest in the team, not just go out and spend a lot of money, but playing like St. Maximum, for example, was bought for less than 20 mil. They're out there someplace. We have to do good scouting and bring in good players who we can then develop to help us to catch up to that top four, because the gap keeps widening and it's only going to get worse.
Guys, I'm going to show Bertram the table that I showed you lot earlier on the team's results this year. Boom, Bertram.
It doesn't matter because Liverpool already won. It doesn't really matter. Man U is on a continuous momentum. No, Man U is being
what are you talking about? It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter because the season is from August last year. The season is from August last year. The season is from August last year. Let's not go with what's new and what's fresh. The season is from August last year. We're confused here.
No, it isn't.
Are we Champions League? Are we Champions League? Are we in the Champions League? We're third. Are we Champions League? Then you can't talk to me about this. I don't want to see it. This table is based on Arteta's performance with the team this year when he took over. He weren't here last August. Yeah?
And the man that was here
Chelsea bought Warner. Chelsea is investing. Man U will invest again. They may go for Sancho. Man City will go buy left back.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
We're not Man United. We're Chelsea.
Are we Europa or going for Champions League? Which one are we?
We were going for Champions League before we drawed last night. We're not those.
But I'm just saying, going forward, I'm not even focused on this year anymore because we're not making Champions League. I'm focused on next year and going forward. Where will we be given the investments being made by the other teams?
Yeah, and that's exactly what I said when we pulled this screen up. I can get rid of it now. I love that. I think I'm going to keep that up there for a while and monitor it. Listen, Arteta, look, respect the manager, man. This is what the manager can bring to everybody. That is proof of him turning this team around. And if you start the season from day one with the philosophies and the investment in those players and the right system and the coaching and the belief, yeah, just what he's done with Man City, bring that over to it. I told you, I wouldn't mind being Man City light. I wouldn't mind being Man City clones. Anything to get this team to be more competitive. And right now, we are more competitive. Yeah? So let's see what he does over a full season next year. As Bertrand said, that's why I pulled that screen up, because that screen shows you he's got the potential to take this team into the top 4. But it depends on what they do this summer. So Bertram, you're practically saying what I said.
Okay. We're aligned.
So that's it, guys. Look, what's it, Rafi? I swear I came here when I woke. Yeah, you did. Bro, listen, we have fun on this show. Sometimes we go up to 2 hours and we just have fun and throw banter around, and it's all good. And I'm on holiday now, so I don't really care about work tomorrow morning. So listen, I'll see you guys later. I'll see you guys later, man. Peace out. Right back at you. Tottenham up next. 2-1 to the Gooners for Tottenham, man. Nice one, man. All right, wicked.
Take it easy, guys.